up, y'all? We don't know the rights to that song at all.
Not even a little
Not
bit.
even close. Don't ask if we know the rights. It is Sunday. It is Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of November 27th, 2022. I'm your host, Caleb Black, along with Luke the Big Dog Williams, our in-studio producer, the Mighty Max Fury, our in-studio editor, Big Bad John, and some other folks hanging out here at church tonight on Sunday. Luke! How's your Sunday, buddy?
It is the day after Saturday.
You damn right it is.
One hell of a pay-per-view last night. Can't wait
Yes,
to
it
get into
was.
that.
Yes, it was.
Got a couple new segments after Birthdays and Bullshit. Please stay tuned for those.
Oh, you don't want to miss today's show, kids.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of injury updates. A lot of wrestling news. A lot of all kinds of wrestling stuff.
That's right, Max. How's your Sunday?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, I'm so excited about today's show that I'm not even going to tell you about all the crazy shit that I've been through all week and everything that I did. We're going to say that.
Whoa.
No.
Whoa. You got to tell us one crazy thing you did.
There's always room for Jello.
There's always time for one more kiss. Name the movie.
Jello.
Mask.
Thank you very much, Max. As you were saying.
As I was saying, you'll
Just let y'all dirt hang out.
Just dipping out of the gang. I see how it is.
You ever been unicorn hunting?
Okay, first of all, you got to specify what type of unicorn you're talking about.
Yeah, you can't just throw that term.
Can't just be. Hold on here.
Next week to find out.
Oh, well.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens next week. Big Bad John, how's your Sunday?
Oh, my Sunday's going great.
Okay, so for those of you who cannot see Big Bad John normally has a beautiful, majestic, big, bushy beard that he has had to shave, and now he looks like a giant child. It's like Baby Huey at the command center over here, just fucking type
You realize that with the push of a button, he can put like a dog's butt on your face, right?
Yeah.
You know, he has the capability.
Because that's going to be the first time I've been called a dog and or an ass.
Or have one on your face. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
All right, we got a lot to talk about. Like I said, it is Sunday. We have to recap Survivor Series. We got to get the points divvied out.
Yes.
We got to talk about a documentary that came out in the Wrestleverse.
You got to wait for that.
We got to talk about some injury updates. We're going to do a recap of Dynamite. So there's a lot to get into.
You have a love letter at the end of the show?
Oh, that I do very much. So please stay tuned for that because I promise you. Well, first of all, I'm going to be totally honest. I've been drinking since like 10 a.m. So that being said, we're going to see just what kind of mood I'm in by the end of the show.
I'm game.
All right, great. So sorry if I.
Also, not to put a halt to everything, but hello everyone in the chat room.
Hello. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for joining the show.
If this is your first time, you picked a good day.
You did. Also, don't forget if you're watching right now, please hop on over to the stream. Hit that like button for us. All those likes help generate in the algorithm. It gets more people to view. It gets more people in the chat. It's everybody interactive. We really appreciate that. And I actually have to do it now because I forgot to. It's okay because I'm.
See, he's doing it right now. Follow suit.
Literally just did. All right, so hold on. There we go. All right, so let's get into this week in wrestling.
Yes.
Now we were going to do a recap of some stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, but because everything played out for the pay-per-view this week, it doesn't really make sense for us to backtrack that far.
No.
And spoil what we were going to talk about for the pay-per-view, so we're just going to get right into Survivor Series.
Well, here, we sum it up real quick. Becky Lynch returned on SmackDown.
Yeah, so we took bets last week on who the mystery partner was going to be for the Women's Survivor Series team. Luke, you said Naomi. Max and I both settled on Tegan Knox. And it ended up being Becky Lynch. The irony to that was Becky Lynch's name did come up last week, but we all sort of agreed that she would still be out of injury.
I would also like to point out that at the actual Survivor Series last night, Michael Cole mentioned Tegan Knox on commentary.
Yes, in reference to Dakota Kai.
And the War Games turn, which is the biggest turn in NXT history.
Yes. So, with that being said, Becky Lynch ended up taking the mantle of the Women's Survivor Series team. And that was the opening match of Survivor Series. Real quick, we'll do a recap of all the people that was in that match, and we'll get right into it. We had Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and Becky Lynch taking on the team of Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. There was a lot of mixed reception about this match. But I don't understand why. Now, I'll point out a couple things that I thought could have been executed a little better, obviously. But I do not think the Women's Survivor Series match suffered as much as the IWC and people on the internet would like. How do you feel about it?
I think that the Women's War Game match went over exactly the way it was supposed to. People were upset a lot of the botchy spots. Of course, The biggest one in my mind being Io Sky coming off the top of the cage with the moonsault that over-rotated.
Well, not only did she over-rotate, let's talk about that spot real quick. She landed on Bailey and who? Bianca. And they both did the Indy thing where they stood there. And
Asuka and Bianca.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Whoever she was landing on, they stood there holding one another for the entire time it took her to scale the cage. By the time she got to the top, the camera was panning to her, so you really couldn't see the ring. But either way, they weren't working up from the ground. They were standing there, for a solid at least 15, 20 seconds, which airtime is a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she comes off and dive. She only over-rotated a little bit. She managed to hit both of her opponents, but she was a little farther out than you would have liked her.
Bianca Belair, of course, that seemed to have injured her ankle.
Yeah.
During the catch, she was seen wiggling her foot back and forth while laying on the ground to try to get to work. The referee did come over. He almost threw up the X, and as he was going to throw up the X, Bianca grabbed him by the arm as she was wiggling her foot, like to say, "No, man, I'm okay."
Did you notice, too, at the beginning of the match? Well, not the beginning, when before the second competitor on the heel women's team came into the ring, when Bianca dumped Dakota Kai over, that the ref immediately came in and grabbed the arm from the check instead of giving her a second to sell. So for those of you who are unaware, in matches like that where there are multiple referees and stuff around, a quick like that, and then how the wrestler taps and responds is letting that referee know they're okay. And normally you want to do that after you get the opportunity to sell the injury, you get the opportunity to tell the story that you're hurt. But as soon as she hit the cage wall, the ref slides his hand in immediately and grabs her before she was ready, which she, like a pro, shook him off. Even as a heel, like, took the hand and was like, "No, I'm fine," saying, "Hey, I'm fine, but hey, let me work."
Yeah.
So that was one thing. Alexa Bliss definitely was like a half step off for at least her intro into whenever Asuka got it.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. There are great women wrestlers, as in Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. She's fantastic.
Great. The problem with her is War Games isn't for everybody.
No.
This style of a cage match isn't workable by a lot of different women on the roster.
Well, and not just women. Let's be clear. A lot of what War Games looks like now, as we saw last night.
That's not what I mean. What I mean is we have so many of the top stars out.
Yes.
So many of the top stars out right now that we're having to put people who you wouldn't necessarily put in this style of an environment in this style of environment because you have no other option.
Yeah, we got no Charlotte.
Alexa Bliss needed no point of being in there. I don't think even the Bailey's kids really needed to be in the match.
I don't know.
Rhea Ripley and
Dakota Kai
Showdown was good.
Yes.
I mean, the one that flipped off the
Skies,
The ones that stand out and stole the show were Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair was an absolute fucking animal.
Becky Lynch is in the best shape she's
I would
ever
like
been.
to throw Dakota Kai in there, too. That opening exchange between Bianca and Dakota Kai was fucking
I'll give you that.
incredible. They hit some really solid strikes. That forearm exchange they were doing up until when the cage opened was really good. Dakota Kai sold her ass off to Bianca. The person that I wanted to see the most out or more out of that I didn't see a lot was Asuka, which is surprising.
Asuka blowing the blue mist. Last night instead of the green. Also, there was a spot that was brought up while we were watching it. We were all discussing the table spot.
Yeah.
Where Bailey's kids was on the table and Alexa come off with the leg drop to, or Becky come off the leg drop to both. The table was literally sagging so much underneath these girls that there was literally this much room to the ground.
You could tell the table was gimmicked.
You could. Unfortunately,
it didn't take away a ton of it though.
I love you too. Miss you as well, nerd.
Love you, boy. Hey, text me. Let me know you make it home. Okay. Well, I guess you did unless you're watching the car. Either way, text me when you get home. That's my son, everyone. Anyway, go ahead. We're talking about the table.
Oh, yes. It took me out of it for a moment. The match, I still give, okay, we do this every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I give it 4.
I wanted to say a 4 as well. It really wasn't a bad match. Yeah. So one of our criticisms, of War Games specifically, is that this one if you're not familiar with the War Games concept, and some of you guys who don't watch wrestling and don't know what I'm talking about, it's 2 wrestling rings pressed together with a cage and then normally a lid on top.
Yeah.
But the idea of a War Games is that you get these groups together who have to fight so badly that the only way you can contain them is you give them this giant space with nowhere to run. And if you watch the War Games inspirations from days gone by, which were the 80s and 90s, they were bloody and they were messy, they were violent, which you can't necessarily do today. Yeah, there was a top and there were weapons.
The only thing different, real big difference here, real quick, if I can cut in on you, is back in the day with the original War Games, it was submission only.
Yes.
It was
submission or surrender.
Yeah, it was by forfeit.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they
fall for the first team.
And the referees are in the ring. Back in the day, the referee didn't even touch the ring till the match started.
No. Well, and that's what I was going to talk about here. Is before there was not as much of a focus on what you were doing in separate camera angles. Now, part of that can be said of like you had 10 of the most talented people in the ring who would build a story no matter what they were doing, but there were definitely moments, especially in the Women's Royal Rumble, where it was all like the camera's going to point to this spot, so everyone do something away from it. But if you watch some of those big spots, the people who weren't interactive in the camera were just laying on the canvas, waiting, which is like an indie mentality, and it doesn't look great. I did want to point out something that I really loved, though, was they went up for the Tower of Doom spot, and Bianca came underneath, and then when the crowd started like really building to it, Dakota Kai came in and cut her off, and the crowd started booing like
I actually
they didn't get it.
I actually mentioned that last night when we were watching.
But because it was Dakota Kai, because it was the heel team, when I saw it, I was like, man, that's fucking... Like, you had them on, they wanted it, and you didn't give it away. That was great.
I give it 4 stars, and I said the unsung hero of the match was Nikki Cross.
I've got to say Dakota Kai.
Yeah, I wasn't even think I should have thrown Nikki Cross in there with my
Nikki was great.
Absolutely.
She kept evading. She did a great job.
Yeah.
So who do we
The
feel like?
craziness, I loved it.
Who do we feel like didn't do the best?
In that match, particularly,
Bliss is off the list.
Honestly, Io and
Io Sky
she was bad. She just
we didn't get enough.
It wasn't what they built her to be. She the queen of the sky.
Yeah,
and all this stuff. And her big spots, she messes up almost every time.
Yeah. Well, and like I said before, Asuka did really nothing spectacular last night.
No,
and that really should have been an environment with multiple people.
But there was nothing to complain about her either.
No, she didn't do anything necessarily wrong, except for that one back tuck elbow thing she did, which came off just a little wonky. But overall, people saying that the women's Survivor Series match wasn't great, I have to disagree. You're obviously welcome to your opinion. It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
I'll give it a 4. I think it was great.
I liked it. I'll give it a 4 as well.
Max?
No, I'm going.
All right, what happened next on Survivor Series? Was that was AJ Styles and Finn Balor, was it not?
Second match of Survivor Series was...
Or was it? Yeah, it was AJ and Finn Balor. Yeah. This was the match that I thought
we should go over the picks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We all chose the women's team, the face women's team, I should say. So Belair, Bliss, Asuka, me, and Becky. Except for Big Bad John, he selected the heel team and he lost. And then the next match we had, like I said, was AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
Everything that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But yet, didn't give me everything that I think it could have.
Our reference to their match is very specifically that one 2019 was it Scream? What pay-per-view was it? TLC, where they piped in AJ Styles to take on Finn Balor. And that won match of the year that year. So I think a lot of us were expecting that. It was okay. The only thing, my biggest attraction was everything that happened on the outside of the ring with Judgment Day and the OC. I don't give a shit about Mysterio. I don't care. I want to see more Damian Priest. I like Carl Anderson. I love Doc Gallows. But that's more so because he entertains me more than he's really good. And there was just too much happening on the outside for the match to be great. And they also started off really slow.
Here's the deal. It wasn't too much distracting for me on the outside of the ring, as much as I felt there wasn't enough on the outside.
Okay.
They didn't. It was AJ and Finn Balor, but it's supposed to be. Now that we understand it was supposed to be the blow off.
Yeah.
And that we're going to get Edge back. I expected more of a rivalry I want everybody hitting moves on everybody at the end.
Well,
and then have AJ go over.
You could have had Carl Anderson hop in and hit him with the gun. Have Damian Priest come in, hit him with the arrow. You know,
that's what I mean.
House of Fire finishes.
A shitstorm at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I expected more, and I'll give it a.
If it was just AJ and just Finn, the ending's fine. But what you're doing is you're leaving. Who did it service? Yeah. AJ Styles won. He's going on to something else, and they're going to bring Edge back to Judgment Day.
Yeah.
It is a missed opportunity for both Damian Priest. Rhea had her own moment. So I don't really count her in. But Dominic Mysterio on Raw, when they had that 6-man tag, every time they tagged that boy in, the crowd lost their minds. Yes. They were so just boo.
The crowd reacts to Dominic, but as we've talked about, and I'm one of the biggest guys who says like he's got a lot of potential, but
he should have went to NXT.
He did not need to be in the mix last night. It just did not do anything for me. There's no way. What up, John? Welcome to the show.
Before you even start, I haven't got into the Roman Reigns stuff yet. Don't jump ahead.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, I don't know.
What's up, John? I
expected it to be at least a 4-star match. I'm going to give it a 2.5. Not that anything bad happened, but with nothing to write home about.
I'm going to give it a 2.5 and just say that it was average.
It was a good
slightly
match.
Above average.
It was a good match for two guys that we expected a great match out of.
Good match.
Yeah, nothing happened that was bad. It just wasn't what we expected it to be, which I think
was nothing more than you would have saw on Raw and SmackDown.
Exactly. It was a Raw match. 1,000%. That's a great way to describe it. Good work, Max.
I'm proud of you. It was not pay-per-view work.
Look at Max using them pearls of wisdom.
He has pearls of wisdom?
Well, they droop a little bit, yeah. Sometimes they're called pearls. All right, so then after that, we had the three-way between Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins.
Hold on, my necklace is
gone. Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory for the U.S. title. By the way, for that match, for the AJ Styles Finn Balor match, the three of us chose Finn Balor. Johnny redeemed his point by choosing AJ Styles. AJ Styles won.
Yeah.
So there we go.
You know, this is the first time on this card so far
that we all
actually tied up, even Johnny ties.
Yeah. So we got the three-way: Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, and Seth Rollins.
Here's the deal. Finish.
Brilliant.
Fantastic finish.
So good.
Crowd's
never
best.
saw it coming.
Here's the deal. It's 10th anniversary of the Shield, and Seth Rollins loses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair.
Like, I
right?
never saw
it's the 10th anniversary of the Shield. Roman Reigns doesn't get the pinfall in War Games.
That's true.
And the story, and it was Jay. And the story was all about Sammy. It wasn't about Roman.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And then you
Triple H was like,
hop over to Dynamite, and Moxley opened Dynamite.
Triple H leaned in. He's like, you know, when the old man was running things here.
Yeah.
It was all about the Shield. The fuck you, Evolution.
That's right, baby.
And then had all of the moves.
I think that...
Don't drink no smoke.
I think the three-way made Austin Theory look great, obviously. It allowed Bobby Lashley to continue being a monster, and it gave Seth a loss.
Yeah.
Which one?
No, you said it.
Hell, I can wrestle rings around Dom, and shut the fuck up. You ain't wrestling nobody. I'll wrestle you. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm not. No, anyway.
I give it, like I said, above average, 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
Oh, wait, no. We're talking about the U.S. title match.
Yes.
U.S. title match.
I'll give it a 3.5.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Bobby Lashley, again, is an absolute. Where he threw he tossed Theory, and then he tossed Rollins, and fed him. Like, the dude is just a powerhouse.
The finish was great. The into the Falcon Arrow, the spear into the cover.
Yep.
It was great for two reasons. One, did you see Bobby Lashley's forehead?
Yeah.
Where he had busted himself open the hard way, hitting that spear and hitting the ground. Vicious as shit, but it was really good because, one, Austin Theory is on a fucking roll right.
Yes. And so there was a lot of complaints about like how he lost when he cashed in the Money in the Bank and then went on to win the United States title in the pay-per-view anyway. And my takeaway from that is they solved a lot of their own problems. Austin lost the first attempt to cash in, which means it lit a fire under.
Yeah.
Then he had to compete for the title, which means in some way, regardless of the finish, he did earn it.
Mm-hmm. Gets
the belt off of Rollins, puts Money in the Bank back in perspective for WrestleMania, and it puts Theory on the path to where now he has to defend the U.S. title, and we have to see him progressively get better.
Also, it opens Seth Rollins' calendar for something with Roman between the Rumble and...
I mean, as far as solving problems, keeping the belt off of Lashley was also smart because they're keeping Lashley warm for Lesnar.
Yes.
So nobody really lost out. Everyone's got a future program, and Theory is now the U.S. champion.
It win-win all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see any problems with
Definitely
it. I'll leave it with 3.5. All of us chose Seth Rollins. Unfortunately, all of us lost.
Yeah.
Everybody went with Austin Theory won. So
big surprise of the night, if you ask me.
Honestly, it really was. Then we had Ronda Rousey against Shotzi Blackheart.
Hey, we went from surprise of the night to not a fucking surprise at all. This match was terrible.
Here's the thing. I've said it 1,000 times on the show, and go back and find it. Ronda Rousey has to wrestle people who can wrestle Ronda Rousey's match.
Yes.
And in order to do that, you have to be exceptionally good. I'm not saying Shotzi Blackheart isn't great, but you have to have a specific skill where you can tailor your style around Ronda's to get a good match. Otherwise, it's a 5-minute match in which Ronda puts the armbar on you, which is exactly what happened.
Yes. Here's my deal. Okay. You get on TV about 3 hours before the pay-per-view goes live.
Don't drink those.
On the bump.
Yep.
And you start crying, and you claim that you're dedicating this match to the memory of your father. And then you go out, and you literally stink up. It was terrible. The moves were terrible. The build was terrible. The comeback was terrible. The best part of the entire match was the 3 count.
Yeah.
And the choke out and the finish, the bell ring.
Yeah.
It was the best part of that whole match.
The pre-match interview that they had with her and Shayna Baszler was good. With Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
And obviously they're going to leave to Ronda and Shayna right now. I think they're going to say Ronda and Becky for Mania. Talk about that.
I'm going to guess things start to go south probably around
Rumble time. But I don't know, man. Shotzi, which we've been critical of Shotzi a lot on the show. And
almost as much as Liv Morgan.
I'll give it a 2 because Ronda Rousey won with an armbar.
If I gave AJ Styles and Finn a 2.5, I'm going to give them a 1.25.
Max, do you have any thoughts over here, buddy? We're sort of just chucking along.
Not on this one. I'm working on something over here.
Okay. Max also has another job to do. Over there being a producer. Look at him producing.
Hey,
look at him.
Our little boy's all grown up.
Well, he's not that.
Well, he's only in space.
Kid Trent's grounds he walks on. All right.
Churches.
So then we hit our main event. There was no Miz Dexter Lumis match.
No, even though there should have been.
There was no Bray Wyatt LA Knight match.
Even though there should have been.
And so we go right into the main event. We have War Games. The Bloodline, which is Roman Reigns, our Tribal Chief and Universal World Champion, undisputed. Our Usos, who are the undisputed World Tag Team Champions. Solo Sikoa, former NXT North American Champion. And Sami Zayn, former NXT World Champion, former Intercontinental Champion. Against the team of Drew McIntyre, former World Champion. Sheamus, former World Champion. Kevin Owens, former World Champion. Pete Dunne, former NXT North American Champion.
UK champ.
Yeah, UK champ. What did I say? North American.
He was North
And then who's the other one? Rich Holland, the guy who broke Big E's neck.
Yeah, the people tend to forget about.
Yeah. No, I haven't forgotten.
I'm like Alan Jackson. I don't forget.
Where to begin? This match was not about anything other than getting Sami Zayn.
Yes.
In the best way possible.
Well, first off, before we get into the actual logistics of the match, Kevin Owens comes to the ring in a big red elbow pad with a shirt from Dusty with a big red elbow pad.
Dusty Rhodes, for those of you who aren't aware, is one of the first competitors in War Games, was one of the long-standing
He also created
members. Yeah.
He also created War Games. Which is kind of sad that we had War Games and we didn't have Cody Rhodes. But, hey, there's always extra, right?
Give it time, baby.
Plus he tears the other package.
Shout out, you.
Royal Rumble returns for
Cody Rhodes, my presence.
No, it was, like you said, it was all to build Sammy, it was all to build the trust angle.
Yeah, it was perfect.
The hug at the end.
Yeah. Not just the hug, the entire lead up to the finish. Kevin Owens comes in, hits the pop-up, hits the stunner. He's got Reigns in his sights. He's jaw-jacked with Sami Zayn, his lifelong friend in real life, as we all know. The guy he literally cut his teeth in with the business. Sammy comes in for the save, hits the low blow, and then Jey Uso picks up the win.
Yeah, fantastic. You got the Roman watching it from the ground. It told the story that it needed to tell. Sami Zayn, that the Bloodline are showing that they're the strongest that they've ever been, which means there's only one way to go with the bloodline, and that's to start chinking the armor.
Yep.
Start taking belts.
Tanya, can you open it?
Into a build for what we're going to see here. Though the finish with Theory was bullshit, you're late.
No way.
No way. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, we have light. We have light.
Yeah, let the camera here.
Yeah, no,
That's probably the garage door. That's fine. I did like Corey Graves from back that Pete Dunne. That was his second or third War Games? Third. So we got some tail on the tape, and the War Games match itself was great. I mean,
it had a lot of different people in War Games that have been there before in both stretches, both matches. Rhea Ripley been in numerous. Dakota Kai been in numerous. Asuka, Belair was in one. I mean, it wasn't that they took people who had never been experienced in one. They just literally took the best of what they could to throw against them. The match was great.
Yeah.
Build to the match was great. Sami Zayn pulling Jay out of the way at the cage in the cage and being like, "I had you. I told you I had you."
Grabbing that ref's hand. What I liked about that is he didn't jump on Kevin Owens to break the count. He just grabbed the ref, which leaves that door open for another story later on if they want to do something with it. Like they can always say like Sami didn't stop Kevin, he just stopped the ref or something like that. But ultimately, main event was perfect.
Yeah. And the greatest part of what we didn't cover is the promo before the match took place. Where Jay's like, I know he was talking to Kevin Owens. I saw him doing it. He lied to me.
Yeah.
And Roman being like, I'll ask him, and I'll look him in the eyes, and I'll know my answer. And then they did that. And Roman played the conflicted, in his mind because Sami told him the truth. And it was like, I didn't tell Jay because they want him blowing his top.
Well,
which is all accurate information. But the best part's when they went to send that second guy out to help Jay. And Jimmy goes to walk out of the cage, and Roman stops him and goes, Sami, you go.
Yeah. What I liked about that promo, though, if you listen real carefully, when he was talking to Sami, he told Sami, this is my family, this is my blood, so I need to know where you stand. Which can always lead back to later, like Sami, again, if they want to turn a babyface, you never treated me like a member of the bloodline, I'm not your family, blah, blah, blah. But it was the way they phrased it. And also that camera shot with Reigns sitting in the big chair and Paul Heyman right behind him. And Heyman not saying anything, but Heyman reacting in only the way that Heyman can.
Like Kevin Smith in the background?
Just like when he was talking to Sami specifically, with Heyman just that pensive, like, judgmental, but I'm not going to say anything because Roman Reigns is talking right now.
Yeah.
Whatever you pay Paul Heyman, double it, then triple it, because he's still the best.
He really is. War Games ended, like I said, with Sami showing his allegiance.
Yep. Got the big hug.
Got the big hug. Can we mention the gear?
Yeah.
Everybody's red gear last night was on point.
Yeah.
Everything looked good. Sami Zayn looks the best he's looked in 4 years or better.
He's leaned out.
Kevin Owens looks the best he's looked 20 years or better.
I did like Corey Graves' call back to Kevin Owens, though, as far as his gear was concerned, when Kevin stopped at the ring and grabbed the chair. And Corey Graves was like, I hope he's reaching for some cowboy boots, because he looks like Dusty, but he's not wearing the boots.
Right.
Just that little extra bit of history that they threw in was really good.
That's a good picture right there.
I'm going to give it 5.
I'm going to give it 5.
Yeah, the story was perfect. The match was great.
100%.
Nothing wrong. No botches to speak of. Even the Usos, like, sometimes we...
Also needs to be talked about that Jey Uso now is being reported that he has a possible broken hand.
Which we reported, either last week or 2 weeks ago?
Before Crown Jewel, he had MRI and x-rays, and they found that it was just a
torn
ligament.
Yeah.
It is now being confirmed by WWE as being a suspicion of a
Yeah. So hopefully he recovers.
Well, here's the deal. You can't take the titles off of him, and we all know he'll wrap it.
Yeah.
He can't. They can't take the tag titles off now.
They can't stop it.
You have to go to Mania, and you have to make it a big thing for whoever takes those titles. You can't do it right now.
No.
If Jay's hurt, make Solo defend.
Yep.
Then pull the fucking Freebird rule. Like the New Day did.
Thought about Solo.
Because here's the deal. The New Day, it wasn't Xavier Woods'...
No, it was Big E and Kofi.
Yeah. So when they say the New Day and Xavier Woods, it's like, yeah, we're the longest reigning. No, you're really not. Big E is.
Big E comes back and he's at full power. His power against Solos with the Usos and
that triple threat.
That's a damn good fucking match.
Solo and Big E.
Well, yeah, I'm just the 6 man alone.
Yeah.
The New Day versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa.
Even if the New Day had beaten, then they still wouldn't.
Well, they would end. They would end there.
They would have, yeah.
They would have prevented them from beating them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, a lot of people forget a lot of those matches in that title reign was wrestled by Big E.
Yeah.
So and Xavier, they wrestled with each other. And they traded. Yeah. So really, I mean, with Big E didn't really get a chance to present.
All right. So, overall thoughts about Survivor Series.
Survivor Series was good.
On the whole, 4.5 easy.
The whole pay-per-view?
All together, 4.5 easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here's the deal. Triple H came out on the press conference afterwards.
Yes, let's talk about the press conference.
Said that it was the most watched in the 35 years of Survivor Series.
Yep.
It was the highest grossing.
Yep. And had a legitimate sellout of 15,600 people at the gate.
At the gate.
Which means...
also most watched Survivor Series in history.
Which means that under Triple H's regime, the last 3 premium live events have got the most attention and the most money than any other mainstream events.
And they broke each other's record every month.
People can say whatever they want. The WWE's business is heating up again. They're still making money, and it's getting real good to watch.
Wrestling is exciting again. I've been saying
the WWE is exciting again.
Yes.
I won't say. Well, we'll talk about Dynamite here in just a fucking minute because I got thoughts.
Yeah.
I got considerations.
He got hosed.
Mainstream wrestling is exciting again.
God,
you kicked me under the table for it. Anywho, what? What I say?
You said it was his leg.
Did I say anything that not everyone already
Shut
knows?
Up. So we've got how did Survivor Series go? It was good.
Yeah, that was great.
Hey, real quick, since we've already been talking about this for half an hour, be sure to find us over at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. Follow us on Twitter at ProWrestlingTV. Send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok at ProWrestlingThrowdown1. And as always, check out streamlabs.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown where you can access the
Merch store!
The
Merch store!
You can find all of our swag. We got bags, we got books, we got binders, yoga pants, sneakers, you name it, we can make it. Every single dollar you spend purchasing something on the website, and every dollar you have to donate if you feel so charitable to do so, gets you thrown into the entries for the end of the month where we do the giveaway. Right now, this month, we're giving away a free hat.
Yes.
Which we're going to be doing the drawing for next week. All the other winners have been dispelled. We're going to get everybody's prizes shipped out sometime this week. And we're going to work at the phone call after the fact. But be sure to check out the website for all the Pro Wrestling Throwdown merch. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your purchases. Thank you for your donations. You guys are what keeps the channel alive. Also, we don't take $1 of that personally. Every single cent you guys spend, whether it's merch or donation or whatever, goes right back into the show for equipment, for programs, for stuff to make this cool, for music, blah blah blah.
Also, don't forget while you're here, please like, subscribe, send it to your friends.
Yes.
The more likes we can get on the video helps the algorithm of YouTube. It allows us to have more options to be able to give the fans what they want.
Yep.
To give you guys what you want to hear every week, drop us a line. Don't forget to join us on Facebook.
When you find us on Facebook, make sure to join the Pro Wrestling Throwdown group that Max is absolutely killing it. We're all admins, but Max is on there every single day, welcoming new members, posting content. Please join the group. Like I said, every bit of expansion helps us grow the show, helps us grow the channel, helps us get us out there. And we appreciate all your
we're trying to build a community on here and on Facebook. Share the videos, share wrestling content.
Yes.
With more wrestling content out there, with wrestling getting better in the last couple months, there's going to be a lot more stuff we're going to have.
Yes. So, to recap Survivor Series, we're going to talk about point standings.
Yes.
So, Johnny did not beat us this week. Johnny tied with us. That's
4 close.
So, just to make it easy, we added 4 points in the last weeks. Max, you're in third place at 55 points. Luke, you're in second place with 56 points. And I am in the lead with 59 points.
So 4 points between last and first place.
Yes.
Now, before we move on from Survivor Series, we had extra people in the studio Is there anybody that maybe happens to have anything that they would like to put in about Survivor Series? Everybody was there. That's about what I thought. Thank
Way
you
to put our guests
so
on the
much,
spot.
guys.
Also,
Appreciate it.
one thing
Thanks.
one thing I have to recap as well. Max used his save.
Yes,
One of his
I
saves
did use
on
my
the
save.
Shotzi Blackheart
I
Ronda
really
Rousey
thought they were going to pull Liv Morgan with her,
So-
and they didn't.
Yeah, as for the point standings right now, Luke's out of saves, and Max and I have one apiece left. And we're still 5 months away from WrestleMania.
Now, remember, in the points race, I know that we mentioned this when we talked about it when we were putting the points up together. You cannot use your save
On WrestleMania.
on
Has
WrestleMania
to be used before.
or the Royal Rumble.
Right. Has to be used
Not
beforehand
the
or-
Rumble match.
Right, the Rumble match specifically.
Specifically, cannot have a save used on the
Yeah.
Rumble match.
Yeah. Not
At
the
the
other Mania
pay-per-view,
card,
but not
but not the
match
Rumble.
itself.
The series will end before WrestleMania. We'll tally up, see who won the season.
It's going to be
And then WrestleMania itself, like it was last year, will determine the punishments.
true. Still going to be me. I'm going to win this year.
So even if he wins the season, he could still be punished.
Not going to happen. Not this
It
year.
might happen.
It's not going to happen. It's exciting.
Possibly happen.
All right, what do we have next on the docket? Big Bad John. Now that we've done the shameless plugs, we've got Survivor Series out the way.
Hey,
Randy Orton
what's that
did
woman
have-
doing to Randy Orton?
Randy Orton, the Viper, former WWE multiple-time world champion, did have a successful surgery.
Yes.
However, due to the nature of the fusion, there is question whether or not Randy's going to be able to return to the wrestling ring.
Here's the deal. He's definitely not, even if he does return, what kind of a return are we?
Well, let's be clear. If Randy Orton comes back, Randy Orton's going to come back this way.
I mean, I can
He's
see
not
that.
going to waste his time not doing it if he can't do it at full capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, if for some reason, knock on wood, that he can't return to the ring full time, that doesn't mean he can't be proactive or interactive in some way. But
You don't need to.
I don't see him coming back to the ring unless he can.
I don't see Randy Orton coming back full time anyway. I see him taking
No,
a
he'll
John
come back with a
Cena,
full-time
Brock
schedule.
Lesnar,
Well, I don't know.
here for a
He's-
couple months, gone for a couple
He's been fairly adamant about wanting to maintain a full-time schedule and having the longest tenure of doing so, which I think right
already
now,
has.
yes. But hopefully he recovers well because I'd like to see him back in the Rumble. I'd like to get my Cody Rhodes moment at some point.
Also, I do want to point out that we are on a lag, so if you write something
Yes.
and you don't hear from us right away, it's because of the lag. We will
We
read.
have a message. Show. Janelle says, "Hey boys, how was your Thanksgiving? Did y'all sit around getting fat and sassy like I did?" Yes, we did. I gained
And-
10 pounds this week. And
Yes,
Janelle,
Tanya, that's exactly who.
he's
that is.
not a Randy Orton lookalike. There's Stone Cold lookalike. He's just Stone Cold adjacent.
Jason.
Yeah, just adjacent.
You can do like they put them together and they make one giant robot.
Put them together. And what do you got? Maybe Bobby did.
First off, Disney, we don't know the rights to that.
We
either.
do not.
Nope,
We don't.
don't.
I don't know if I
Put
did.
Randy Orton and Stone Cold together, you get the most badass motherfucker to ever walk the
Yeah,
planet.
his name was Diamond Dallas Page.
Here's the deal.
Bitch.
Here's the deal.
I'm upside down.
I don't want to. I don't want to mess with Disney because I'm scared that I'm going to get that phone call at 4:00 in the morning, answer the phone, and hear the voice that says, "You fucked up, you did." You know what I mean? I don't want Yoda calling me threatening.
No,
my
it'll be
life.
the mouse. What's up, cocksucker? Oh, sorry. My bad. Whatever. All right, what do we got next, Big Bad
That's
John?
where you draw the line. That's the one. Huh?
No, not quite yet. We're
That's the
going to
one
find
that's going to take us away.
out. Okay, so let's talk about Dynamite just a little bit. One big takeaway from Dynamite was the Ring of Honor World Title match between Chris Jericho and Tomohiro Ishii.
Who, if you're not familiar,
Yes.
don't be feeling
Yes,
bad
yes,
because
yes.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, well, I am. Tomohiro Ishii is one of the best and top Japanese shooters in NJPW. Even for his age, he's still one of the hardest hitters. He's also a member of, I think it's Chaos. I can't recall quite. However, number one, this is one of Jericho's best matches to date. Number two, Ishii chopped Jericho so hard that he literally cut his chest open. Johnny, can you go back to that picture?
Yeah.
Now here's the crazy part.
Okay.
That injury happened 3 minutes in the match. Jericho wrestled the other 15 minutes of this fucking hard-hitting chopping
With his
fight
chest split.
with his chest split wide open.
Wow.
Which, if you want to talk double tough, that's double tough.
That is tough.
Jericho, at 52 years old, as a current reigning Ring of Honor champion, went toe-to-toe with Tomohiro Ishii for almost 20 minutes and was bleeding the entire time. Didn't miss a step. Wasn't the normal clumsy, like... Because we've seen Jericho be
Yeah.
very klutzy as of late.
Yeah.
Didn't miss a step. Was on his 2-step the entire time. There was one lull in the strikes that they had, but I'm pretty sure that was just Jericho telling Ishii to hit him on the other side. So there was like a communication in the turnbuckle. But ultimately, match was damn fucking good. Between
Also,
two legends, two
Thanksgiving
pros,
was awesome.
and Jericho did it the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, Jericho, you say what you want, but dude's class act.
Can't nobody say that motherfucker did not show up. Because he showed up and showed out and fought his ass off. And won.
Kylie Ray might go for him now.
Boy, you pulled that out of the fucking back pocket, didn't
You're
you?
right, I did.
Wow.
Just have the memories.
This is the only time in my world I wish I had a Jordan Grayson to throw to.
The fact that she's a trash bag human being?
No.
And her husband's not even tall enough to really watch this show.
Where's not what he's talking about? He's not tall enough. What do we got next, Big Bad John?
It's Jordan Grace, I quit.
It's not.
Oh,
yes.
All right.
I really wish I didn't have to pee right now. That's exactly what. So we have the Elite versus Death Triangle in their second of their best of 7 series, right? And these motherfuckers. Look, I'm all about, like, it's totally acceptable to send a message in a wrestling match, especially to further a story. What you should not do in that regard is make yourself look deliberately stupid, even if there's an inside joke. And I'll tell you why. As a casual wrestling fan, when Matt Jackson goes for that buckshot lariat, I had to piss myself. When Matt Jackson went for the buckshot lariat and Nick Jackson went for the buckshot lariat and deliberately fell on his ass, to those of us, and really in this room, I'm the only one of the 8 people sitting here that watch AEW regularly. I know what it meant, and all the other AEW fans know what it meant. But if a casual fan turns the fucking TV on and the first thing they see is this goddamn fucking 150-pound fucking long-haired douchebag botch a fucking move, you're not going to keep watching the show. You're going to turn it over. So there's my first fucking complaint. Second fucking complaint. Matt Jackson on the outside sitting crisscross applesauce. Again, I know that's a dig to Punk. But again, if that's the first fucking thing I see and I see a wrestler sitting on the outside of the ring with his legs crossed, I'm not going to keep watching. Number 3, Kenny Omega hits Pac with the GTS in Chicago to the ire of Chicago wrestling fans. Brilliant fucking thing to do. And I, as a wrestling fan, know what's going to happen. And it's great to watch.
He bit a man.
And he did bite a man, throw back to Ace Steel. But then when you hit the other guy's move, and you're in full control, and you have full autonomy of said move, don't fuck it up. And that's exactly what he did. Tupac, who he has wrestled, mind you, a dozen times in AEW, and they know one another. When he took him up for the GTS, when Pac came down, Omega, who throws knees religiously to someone's face and frankly has one of the best knee shots in the business. I don't like Kenny Omega. And I can say the knee trigger is a fucking devastating knee shot. Then the only person I would trust to take a move like that from is Kenny Omega. And if you can't get your fucking knee high enough to land over someone's shoulder who is 2.5 feet fucking smaller than you, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't fucking do the move just to be cutesy. What you should do is hit your moves because you're a fucking professional wrestler and it looks good. I don't know. That's something I may have heard when Harley Race beat the fuck out of me for 6 months. I don't know.
He said cutesy, not oosy. That's so wrong.
Keep it oosy.
In this 6-man diatribe, you have Pac, who is one of the most legitimate professional wrestlers, bar none, has one of the best physiques, has one of the best styles. Yes. His height, he's short, but he's not small by any means. No. You've got the Lucha Brothers, who are an established international fucking tag team, and who work their asses off. On the other side, the Elite. I don't have to like them. Can't say they're not fucking good. Even the Young Bucks, whom I fucking hate, are good at what they do. Instead of using that opportunity to expand on their series, they decided because they were in Chicago, which again is probably a throwback to the fact that Punk is a work and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And all that stuff, though, is just if you watch it as a fan and that's what you're interested in. What I'm interested in is knowing that when people watch my fucking sport, that it doesn't look fucking stupid. And that entire match was nothing but a bunch of fucking acrobats doing tricks and the Elite fucking it up for everybody else.
Yeah, I'm over the Elite. I do like the fact that Mr. Ricky Starks
Here's our number one contender.
Is
Like
getting- is
I
getting
called.
shocked. Yeah, you did.
Thank you very much. It's going to be Ricky Starks and MJF at Winner's Coming.
It was your turn this week. We usually do take weeks where all of us call something that happens here in the last.
That's
3
true.
months.
Last week we were on fire.
Last week we were on fire. Johnny started last month on fire with the call to pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So what do we got next?
Well, hold on. Let's talk a little bit too about MJF.
All right.
MJF. I'm sorry, Moxley and Regal. They opened the show with Mox and Regal. Mox basically tells Regal, you betrayed the Blackpool Combat Club. You need to get out of town and run until you can't stop running. Then run some more. Went to fight Regal. Bryan Danielson shows up, stops. Obviously, Regal trained Danielson in real life. We know that. They have history between all three of them. We know that. It's a great story.
It really is. Well, here's the deal. Anytime you have Regal and Danielson in the same storyline, it's going to sell. Here's what's going to happen is Danielson's going to end up going heel and turning on Mox, and it's going to be Danielson and...
Keeping watch on MJF's back.
Keeping watch on Regal's back.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be that whole, I don't trust this guy.
Yeah.
So, are you sure you know what you're doing? Blah, blah, blah. The same old story.
So, sticking with our theme here of AEW, let's talk about Rampage. Which we should have. Graphic. Big bad John would do his fucking job. Sorry. Okay, so this match got a lot of
criticism. He's going to put a dog's butt on your face.
So, Top Flight is a young, up-and-coming, high-flying tag team. One of the best in the business right now. They're both like 22 and 23, or 21 and 22. Okay. They're both incredibly young. Incredibly athletic. Everything they do is genuinely a spectacle, and that's coming from someone who, again, is not a fan of gymnastic-style wrestling.
Right.
Brilliant. FTR. I could sing their praises all the time. If you watch any episode of the show that we've done for the past 3 years, I'm going to do that anyway. Right. The best, most established tag team in the business. They wrestled for, I think, the Ring of Honor tag team titles that FTR happens to be champions of right now.
Yeah.
One of the biggest complaints that came out of this match was that FTR really... So FTR's big thing is following tag rules, using the tag ropes, clearing the ring when the ref tells you to, blah, blah, blah. One of the biggest criticisms that came out of this match was the fact that Cash Wheeler was in the ring for too long, in certain increments. What people fail to realize that we're watching it is that Cash Wheeler got dropped on his fucking head, and when he was laying on the inside of the ring, because he couldn't move.
Yeah.
It wasn't because FTR stopped doing the traditional style of wrestling. That's never going to be a thing. It's because Cash Wheeler had to catch his breath, and they still had work to do.
Yeah.
The idea is you get your guy out of the apron, you tag in, you do your tandem stuff. You got like a 15, 20-second clearance of NWA rules, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's shit. But because FTR didn't use the tag ropes as much, there was a bunch of criticism from the match. And I can tell you right now, the only reason that happened was because Cash Wheeler basically had his bell on.
Yeah.
However, damn good match. Top Flight really impressed me because they grounded their style. They integrated with FTR style, and wrestling an FTR match, if FTR is dictating the match is always going to be good. Right. If they're in control. Not that Top Flight would have been in control in the scenario anyway.
Yeah.
But Top Flight adjusted to their style of match very, very
well. Top Flight, you have to change your style to service FTR.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, yes. Thank you. It's just the way they have to run their style.
Yeah, and it was a damn good match. Ring of Honor tag team top match, FTR portion thing. But I just want to talk about that for a minute because, again, the criticism that FTR got from it wasn't legit. And I'd be the first one to call them out if they really weren't doing the job that they said they were going to do, but they did a damn good job.
Yeah. Well, you're hard pressed to find anything that FTR puts their hands on it.
I completely. What do we got next?
Sadder stories. That was announced through Dustin Rhodes' Twitter 3 or 4 days ago. I'm not really exactly sure on the timeline that he has to go in for some form of a shoulder surgery, some kind of something. Anyway, it's being labeled as a possible career-threatening.
Sorry, guys, we don't know again.
We don't exactly know the extent yet.
Just for a minute, Max.
Jennifer, the plain and simple fact that it's a career-threatening injury, that is a big blow.
Yeah.
to AEW, especially behind the scenes, with Dustin Rhodes being the trainer of the women.
Yeah, he's one of the top veterans. He's got some of the best perspectives.
Yes.
Hopefully he recovers. He's going to get able to at least get in the ring in the capacity to continue teaching.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say.
We wish speedy recovery, of course.
Absolutely.
I hate when any of the brothers go down,
Yeah.
and Dustin Rhodes is one hell of a hand.
Yeah.
Always has been, always will be. Speedy recovery,
Yeah.
for sure. What we got next?
Next, Max, you need to hop in here and chill because I really have to pee. Just going to be honest about it.
Well, you just go do that.
I
Now,
got
as
to,
you
I'm
do
sorry.
that, I will bring up that it was announced
I wish you would.
through NXT's Twitter that this week on NXT we're going to have Shawn Michaels giving the cast, so to speak, the participants in the Iron Challenge, Iron Gauntlet Challenge, Iron Survival Challenge. But as well as that, we're going to have the Road Dogg and Molly Holly both represented on NXT. Molly Holly is a producer for WWE NXT. And of course, BG James is the guy who puts the live events together. He's the guy that he's like the booker of certain parts of the show. Road Dogg, of course, has done it for ever since the Attitude Era.
Right.
What I'd really like is what you were saying earlier to me about Billy Gunn. I'd like to see them be able to fork out the money to bring Billy Gunn in.
Yes, we need Billy Gunn back, Zion. Then you have basically all of the what we know as
Yes. Also, would be great in the women's division as a coach for NXT. He did. I hear that Tough Enough was just renewed for a new patent on the name Tough Enough. We could see a Tough Enough in this generation.
Hey,
Thank you,
Max, speaking of DX, suck it. Get out of my chair.
Just so you know, he farted in your chair while he was going.
That's fine. He's small and mousy.
What you're saying?
Boy, you guys are getting a hell of a show this week. Sorry
What you
about
were
it.
saying was it was a two. I covered NXT.
Oh, good.
Molly Holly, like I said, would be a great. She's a producer
Yes.
there. It's a great morale booster.
Yeah.
For both of them, Road Dogg. I mean,
We can shut that door off if you like.
especially
Thank you.
especially for the tag team division. Hold on, just a second.
I'm so sorry about all this noise this week.
We're in the back of a moving truck. We're in the back of a moving truck right now.
maybe if we just didn't open it all the way.
It doesn't work that way. I don't know. That
Ain't that fancy.
could be fancy. Fancy as fuck. Classy. I'm classy.
So fancy.
I'm a classy broad.
You already
As I said,
know.
my
I don't know
course
the
I
right
think
stuff.
is classy.
Yeah, you drink your beer from a glass.
Sterile like the taste.
Sterile.
What do we got next, Big Bad John?
Enjoy my life.
Hey, man.
There we go.
All right. Next. SmackDown World Cup Finals.
Now, we actually, because of the pay-per-view and whatnot, we didn't see SmackDown, so I don't know who
I
won
do.
SmackDown. I know I know you do, so you cover it.
Santos Escobar, otherwise known as Coronel, which you'll get into here in a minute,
Yes.
defeats Butch
Yep.
due to interference from the Bloodline,
And then Ricochet defeated Braun Strowman.
due to interference from Imperium.
And here was a really cool thing. After the match with Ricochet and Braun pulled Ricochet up, shook his hand, held his arm up to the crowd like he
So,
won.
Do you know what the bracket's going to be?
Final match is going to be Ricochet versus Santos Escobar.
Yes.
Now, Big Bad John, if you pull that graphic back up, the reason that we parallel the way we did is because if you look at this right bracket, that is King Cuerno,
In the red.
currently known in the red with the white, currently known as Santos Escobar, against Prince Puma, currently known now as Ricochet, in a series of matches they had in Lucha Underground.
Yes.
And for those of we've talked about Lucha Underground, if you're not familiar, you have to watch it. It is the best blend of pro wrestling and television novella ever. It is so good, so unique, and it's such a shame that the El Rey Network didn't get the funding to keep it going.
MLW is doing something called Lucha Mortis or something like that.
They've got
where it
the
is-
Lucha Underground integrated. Anyway,
yeah.
the reason that I wanted to highlight these matches is because this match has already happened. And they happened in a series of matches
Numerous
in Lucha
times.
Underground, and they were fucking barn burners,
Yes.
every single one. So I'm hoping, God willing, that Triple H is going to draw on some of that and just let these two guys get in there and have a fucking match. Because if that happens, it's probably going to be one of the best episodes of SmackDown that have been aired in several years. And that's not lip service. I'm telling you right now, if the gloves are off and they get a solid 20 minutes to go in there and just work and do their thing with the WWE acumen to it, obviously.
Right.
It's going to be the best episode of SmackDown you've seen. So
it's going to be good.
I guess we're going to find out this week whether or not
we're still getting Gunther and Braun.
Yes.
But I think that they're not going to pull the trigger to that till after the Rumble.
See, they're talking about Gunther and Brock at Mania.
See, I heard Gunther said that he wanted Brock, but
the WWE is currently right now trying to pen in whether or not they want to do Brock and Bobby at the Rumble or Mania. And if they do it at the Rumble, it's going to lead to Brock and Gunther.
Brock and Bobby wasn't good enough to go through.
Right? I think one more. I think
maybe at the Rumble, but definitely
at
not
the Rumble,
Mania.
but not Mania. Give me Brock and Gunther.
I would much rather
let Brock hit the suplexes, but let Gunther hit the strikes. Let Gunther fight Brock.
Right.
That's
what I'm saying. He has such a different style than Lashley.
Yes.
That it'd be so much
complimentary.
And there's something to be said. Lashley and Brock, while Lashley is much more versatile, still have a very similar style.
Yes.
And so, you can only really get that match in so many ways before you've seen it. Everything they're going to do.
Right. That's I feel like we've seen. They can't. I don't feel like they can do more than with Lashley.
Maybe one more.
I agree.
Maybe one more, but it has to be at the Rumble.
It has to be soon. And
it
also,
doesn't have a Mania sell to it.
Still, you have to find something different to do. How many times can somebody be speared through a
barricade? Yeah, exactly. But here's the question. Do you then pencil in Gunther and Brock for the Intercontinental title?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What does it look like, though? Let's say, for instance, let's say Brock wins. Is that like Brock as the Intercontinental Champion?
Would bring prestige back to the belt.
It'll give legitimacy back to the belt.
I mean, look what they've done with the U.S. title.
Or do you give Gunther that upset win and really send him on his way?
That's the way I would do it. But
you give Gunther the win and keep that Intercontinental Championship out of U.S. hands like he's trying to do.
And then Gunther can come out and be like, I defeated Brock Lesnar, the baddest man on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Everyone touch it.
That's enough.
That's enough.
And you build it to Gunther versus Roman Reigns with or not for the title. I don't care.
But you don't build the Gunther and Roman. You build the Gunther and Sammy first.
I really wish you quit calling him the Gunther.
Then you have Then you have the Bloodline intervene and cost Gunther the title, putting the Intercontinental title on Sammy, which means he takes the IC belt to the Bloodline, and then you've got a tailor-made story to make Gunther the number one contender.
And he's Canadian, so that would fully I'm good.
Everybody wins, baby.
Yep.
Listen to me, it's like a
I said the other night, I was like, man, I really wish they'd give me the book for like 2 days.
Just 2 days. I promise you, I can book you to something.
Just give me a pay-per-view. Give me the rub.
Unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of Shelton Benjamin.
You're going to see
when I say a lot of Shelton Benjamin, I mean a lot of Shelton Benjamin.
How much is Shelton Benjamin?
A whole lot.
Speaking of new books, we have a scheduled spot to talk about?
We will do that after his favorite Survivor Series match.
Okay.
I know exactly.
Okay.
All right. Good to know. What do we got next, Big Benjamin? Also, let's go back to SmackDown because we're conversation. Friday night we got fucking Ricochet and Pablo Escobar.
Yes.
A rehash of Keith Berno and Prince Puma.
I'm gonna say we're also gonna have probably a Roman Reigns victory, War Games victory celebration, probably or something. Not on Raw. Because Raw's not Roman's show. SmackDown's
That's
Roman's
fair.
show.
That's fair. All right, now we can move on.
That I would like to point out that it is now officially Royal Rumble season.
It is. We're getting to the nitty gritty. We passed Survivor Series. It's Rumble time, baby.
Halfway there.
Feel free to lose this year.
Feel free to cry a little bit more when I beat you.
I know who's going to win the Royal Rumble, bro. It's going to be Cody Rhodes.
You know not to talk shit going into the Royal Rumble against me. You should know.
I don't want to hear your bullshit.
You know
that. David Tennant love it. I don't want to hear it. Okay. You,
we
much
all
like
this.
David Tennant, will have 2 good seasons, and then Matt Smith's going to take over, baby. Woo!
And he canceled something too.
But they've been trying to cancel me for years. It just won't stick. Speaking
Not
of,
that there's anything that should stick. Oh, fuck camera, man. Camera shit.
I said what I said. Adam Cole, baby, is hurt.
Adam Cole's really hurt, and
Yeah.
the part that pisses me off is that there's no updates.
No. So part of AEW's concussion protocol is that, well, actually, frankly, this is actually an athletic commission protocol when it comes to concussions. You have to go 7 days consecutively without a headache after a concussion in order to even consider seeing a doctor to get through. So that means you can go your 7 days, but you can't even get him to see the doctor to get cleared after that. He had the dual concussions happen in July?
June at the Forbidden Door paper.
And he is still hurt, still dealing with headaches, so he's still on the shelf, and there is no timetable for his return.
There's also a lot of talking about the possibility of him retiring. Which, if so, that's a huge blow to professional wrestling. Adam Cole, people can say what they want about him being small, or about him doing this, or about him doing that, but him and Pat McAfee single-handedly kept NXT watchable
And
through War Games. When I think the new version of War Games, I think
you
Pat
think
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. And well, first, you undisputed.
Yeah.
They're incredible. Adam Cole also is only, 32? 31?
They never lost.
Like,
As the Undisputed Era, they never lost War Games. There was not a team that beat them in War Games. Not one.
it would be a shame right now if this injury took him out of the game permanently. I don't see that.
If
But-
so, I see Xavier Woods extending the up, down, down.
Yeah,
bridge.
yeah.
I really do. They're friends. Why not?
But hopefully Adam Cole comes back relatively soon. We already lost Bobby Fish. No one's seen hide nor hair of Kyle O'Reilly in months
No.
because he's still hurt as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get some Adam Cole back on AEW TV.
We're probably waiting to get them back at the same time.
Yeah.
But I don't see it. I really hope the best for Adam Cole, but it does not look good, folks. It does not.
It's a shame. Big Bad John, keep the train moving.
Choo, 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 choo. Hey.
Okay. So this popped up today on my timeline, and I wanted to talk about it because this was my favorite Survivor Series. But it's not because of the actual match or what happened in the match or whatever. It's the build-up and genuinely how it started. Raw Homecoming took place on October 9th, 2005, when Raw left Spike TV to go back to the USA Network.
Yes.
That's where Shawn Michaels wrestled the 30 minutes Iron Man match to no conclusion with Kurt Angle. Triple H, I think, defended the world title. And at some point, what happens is Teddy Long has a SmackDown match scheduled between two guys on SmackDown who were formerly on Raw. And I don't even remember who the guys were. I think maybe Eddie was in the ring and somebody else. Anyway, Eric Bischoff comes out and says there's no way this SmackDown match is going to happen on Raw Homecoming. Get the hell out of our ring. They leave, fans boo, blah, 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 blah. They go to the main event. Main event's going on. Teddy Long comes back out to the ring, or he comes back out to the ramp and says, you tried to shut us down. Well, SmackDown's in the house too, because this is Homecoming. And then all-out brand war takes place. And they start this fight. And that is legitimately how they set up for this Survivor Series. Was because Teddy Long wanted to make sure the SmackDown guys got featured on Raw when Eric Bischoff said no. And then it led to one of the best Survivor Series matches ever. It was Team Raw, which was
Can you throw that graphic back at
Captain.
camera, man?
I won't even look. Hold on. Take my glasses off and everything.
Okay.
Team Raw was captained by Shawn Michaels.
Uh-huh.
His teammates were Carlito, Chris Masters, The Big Show, and Kane, who at the time were the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Okay.
Team SmackDown was Batista, who was the team captain and world champion, and tag team champions at the time with Rey Mysterio.
Uh-huh.
Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton, who was the replacement for Eddie Guerrero. And, hold on, Bobby Lashley, Batista, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton. Not Kennedy, JBL. Because JBL and Shawn Michaels had a Legends match on Raw 2 weeks into the program. Did I get that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Well, you're goddamn right I did. One of the coolest vignettes they did was the backstage parking lot fight that they did on SmackDown.
Surprise.
When JBL pulled up in the limo and all the Raw guys got out of the limo.
Yeah.
And they're all outside rolling up their sleeves, and Batista and Rey Mysterio in the ring talking. And this was after the attack on Raw, where Big Show and Kane dual choke slam Batista. So they're in the parking lot on SmackDown, and Michaels is basically like, yeah, fucking come on, come get some. And then JBL is the one who's like, we're not taking that. Like, this is JBL's house. Goes to Batista and is like, get your team together, going outside. They all go outside, they have this great big fight. The best spot of the whole deal, though, is they go off camera, and Bobby Lashley and Chris Masters are like teeing off on each other, hitting fucking live rounds too. You can hear Bobby Lashley's fist cascade off of Chris Masters' head. And then you hear this giant shattering noise. And then when you look back, it's Kane and Big Show standing side by side on this car where they chokeslam Batista through it.
Yeah.
So Batista goes on to wrestle the Survivor Series match in the following weeks at SmackDown, all taped up. The last man standing for the teams was Shawn Michaels eliminated 4 members of Team SmackDown on his own.
Yes.
And then they whittled through Team Raw slowly. And then the last 2 men were Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton.
Yep.
I think Rey Mysterio hadn't been eliminated either. But Shawn Michaels goes to hit Randy Orton with the super kick. Fucking Randy Orton plows out and hits him with the RKO 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton then gets hoisted up by all the SmackDown stars or whatever. They're all celebrating the Survivor Series win. And then the gong hits. And that is when The Undertaker returned, which, if you look at the timeline,
which is when he beats up Randy Orton.
No, he didn't touch him.
Or he's up on top of everybody's shoulders.
Nope.
That's right.
Orton's on top. They hear the gong. Orton's trying to tell him to let me down. And all you see is his casket get wheeled out. Then the casket gets hit by a bolt of lightning, gets set on fire, and then Undertaker busts through the door. Undertaker had been away from the WWE since his loss to Randy Orton at WrestleMania, which is then when Randy Orton returned. The cool part about that is what timed out after was the draft. Following that year's WrestleMania, when Randy Orton got shipped back to SmackDown after his shoulder injury to The Undertaker in the main event.
Yeah.
When he got shipped back to SmackDown, goes up and hits Undertaker with the RKO for his return, and then didn't come back to TV. But anyway, I want to talk about that just because it's my favorite Survivor Series, and the match was great, but like the build-up was one of the best ones because there was no other organic story like the year before, or the 2003 Survivor Series was like Team Stone Cold versus Team Bischoff. So Stone Cold's career on the line.
Where Michaels lost that.
The following year was Team Eddie versus Kurt Angle, and that was the Gold Rush tournament. So it was Shelton Benjamin, Maven, Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit, who took on Triple H, Batista, Gene Snitsky, and Edge.
Yes.
And all of that was about a title. All of those were for like belts. This one was just because SmackDown got pissed off.
Yeah.
And then decided to carry the blood feud. One of my favorite ones, and I want to talk about it.
So, speaking of blood feuds, something we certainly know a lot about is blood feuds.
Yeah.
We know a lot about taking blood feuds just a little far.
Yeah.
In certain places. And I think this is apropos to say that if you really want to see a bloodbath up close and personal,
there's only one place to
there's
go.
only one place you can do to get it. And guess who's going to be there?
We're going to be there.
We're going to be there.
We're going to be there. All 3 of us are going to be there. Actually, I'm pretty sure that most of the people in this room are going to be there. When AFU Hardcore returns in February, baby.
It's about time.
We're
It's
back.
about damn time.
So ready.
So excited. We got so many great people to see. The Ty motherfucking Blade is
Who
going to be
is,
there.
as you remember, the current reigning and defending AFU Hardcore champion.
Be interesting to see who challenges and steps up to the plate.
That scumbag prick Dalton Diamond's going to come back into the fold, I'm sure.
Giant piece of shit.
Madman Pondo.
Batman Pondo.
I'm sure.
Roscoe Eat Lisa.
I'm sure.
The team of Mikey and Zach, the Skimmerhorns, hopefully.
One never know what this chapter 2 is going to look like. We closed the book on chapter 1 in August of last year.
Yep. We've been out of work for 6 months.
Believe me when I tell you, for the last 6 months, things have been being shaken. Things have been being stirred, put up.
We've been knocking them coconuts out them trees.
The return of AFU on February the 16th.
At Quick Skating Rink in Anna, Illinois.
Tropical Anna, Illinois. We will be doing the thing in the ring.
Grittier, dirtier, more violent. Like I said on Facebook, the monsters are back under the bed. Make sure we're going to be shilling out all the information we get. Luke and I will once again be behind the table, along with Max Fury. He'll probably hop in too. He's going to be running your tech side. And by God, boys, it's going to be back in
Going back to work.
Can't wait to see
As Stan Lizzie said.
Can't wait to look Dalton Diamond in the fucking eye.
Yeah, it's
I'm
going to be
looking forward
interesting.
to it.
Got a little
Big
conversation.
Bull Bronson. We can't leave him out.
I don't want to look at him.
I tried looking him in the eye last time when we were live, and I got an eye full of something else.
Speaking of an eyeful, you know where you get an eyeful of us?
Where's that, Caleb?
See that transition?
Yeah, I don't know.
You can check us out over at Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. You can follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TV. You can send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. You can follow us on TikTok at Pro Wrestling Throwdown 1. You can also check out streamlabs.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown, where you can find the merch store. At the merch store, you can find all the goods, gobs, gadgets, and gizmos that we have our names and brands plastered all over. We've got stickers, shirts, sneakers,
Pro
yoga
Wrestling
bags,
Throwdown the soccer ball.
Yeah. You name it, we can put our face and name on it. So check out streamlabs.com. Thank you for all your purchases. Every single dollar you spend, every single dollar you donate to the website, all of that gets entered into a drawing at the end of the month for a piece of free merch. This month, our drawing is for a free Pro Wrestling Throwdown trucker
embroidered trucker hat.
It looks damn good. I don't have it with me right now. I showed it a couple of weeks ago. But make sure to check out the website for all your Pro Wrestling Throwdown needs. I want to get Pro Wrestling Throwdown milk. Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk with our faces all over.
Will that be our milk?
No milk will ever be our milk.
Hey, how about you, Sideburns?
Rather have a beer. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's right. We do movie quotes too. We're cultured as fuck.
Right. Also, be prepared for more content coming in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we're talking about expanding the channel. We're going to do movie reviews, talk about music, talk about media.
For you trekkers,
I'm a Trekkie.
Trekkies, trekkers,
We don't
people.
hawk the trek
Well,
here.
we're hawking it here
Right.
for right now. Going to get some reviews of some classic episodes of that. We're going to really
Oh,
branch out
yes.
to
Suss
all
out trekkie
facets.
bitches such as yourselves. Tell them to get the hell off our land. The hell off of our land. The hell out of here.
Don't tell him that. You're going to get a butthole across the side of your face. No
No
good
good
story.
story. Ever start with a glass of milk? That depends on who pours the milk.
That is a very good quote from my man Jim Jeffries.
That's right. All right. So yeah, check out the show. We're going to be expanding the channel. We're going to be talking about movies. We're going to be talking about. I want to do comic books. We got all kinds of stuff in line here. So.
Music, TV shows, anything pop culture.
Oh, yes.
Because when people think of me, they think
think
that guy
comic
knows
books.
pop culture.
I think a lot of things about you, Caleb.
Well, that's all right. It's going to get a lot worse the next week. What do we got next, Big
I
Bad
believe
John?
that that's the end of our nonsense.
Is that the end of our
Yep.
bullshit?
That is the end
Yeah,
of
it's the end of
yours.
our bullshit. Yes.
So then I think it's time.
Is it that time?
I think it's that time for everyone's favorite segment.
My favorite segment.
I think it's time for birthdays.
Bullshit.
Max, take it away.
Okay, now-
No.
on a roll.
Hang on right there, John.
You're on a roll. I beat you the
go
last
ahead.
3 fucking weeks.
Go to
Until last week.
the Just Talking. No, we have a breaking announcement we need to talk about.
Oh, God. What happened?
We had,
Shit.
well, I've lost the actual post now. We had a friend of ours, and viewer, fan at AFU. We know him as Ghostly. Named James.
Mhm.
I'm not going to divulge any more information of that.
Mm-hmm.
Has let out a post that his mother has passed away.
Oh, damn.
Oh, man, I hate to hear that.
Well, from everybody here at PWT, we send our condolences.
Yeah, James is a good dude. It's a shame to hear.
He's been a loyal fan ever since we started the show.
Number one for not only us, but AFU hardcore
Yeah.
as well.
Hate to
That's a
hear
shame.
that.
I hate to hear that. May peace be with you guys during
Yeah.
the moment of need. Sure. Thank you, Max, for that, though. Appreciate getting us caught up there. Now I feel I don't want to be like, I'm going to kick your ass now because
No, it's okay.
it's not going to beat you.
No, you're not. Not this week.
Alright, now it is time for our Bloodline update.
Bloodline update.
There's got to be a way to shorten it. I wouldn't call it the blood date. That just sounds like something.
How about Dateline? No, that's completely
That's
different.
also-
That's a completely different thing. Okay.
I'm on a lot of lists. That ain't one of them.
Our
That's a morbid
tribal
thing.
chief and head of the table, Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion for 819 days.
Which means, if my math is correct, he is only 47 days away from breaking, I think it's Lou Fez's record, to make him number 3.
Wow.
I think.
Do you think they'll pull it?
We'll
Do you
know
think
that
he'll
all
hold
that.
it for the foreseeable future and break all the records?
Here's the thing. So I was talking about this the other day with the boy because he asked me who I thought was going to be Roman Reigns' belt. And it occurs to me, if they want to do The Rock
Blood date.
at WrestleMania, then he's not going to lose the belt by Mania. The only way he loses the belts is if they do Roman and Cody. But if you're getting Roman and The Rock, you're not doing Roman and Cody. Like, there's just, it's not gonna, if you can get The Rock, you're gonna get The Rock for that match. So I think he will. I think he may.
Or you have that on night one, you have The Rock come out and fuck him, and you get The Rock.
You're not going to put Roman on. You're not going to put Roman in a position where he can get hurt on night one if your marquee matches with him and The Rock. Unless it is a quick thing where Cody just books him for the roads, whatever the hell, and 1, 2, 3. But you're not going to take the belt off Roman like that either, because he looks like shit going against The Rock. So really, ultimately, right now, the only way we know is by who wins the Rumble.
All down to the Rumble.
It's crunch time now.
How about the Usos for the Bloodline update?
The Usos been tag team champions for 497 days.
Which means they have set the record again 2 weeks ahead of the previous record. And right now, they're the #1 rating tag team champion, tag team of all time.
Yes.
And the farther they hold them, the farther out the record gets.
And the farther
I
out
know
they
something
hold
about
them,
that because I smashed the record of Evil Dead so bad, they're going to have to sell out 7 shows.
Now, also, adding to the Bloodline update this week, I want to talk about Sami Zayn and Jey Uso and that everything that happened between them at Survivor Series. We didn't talk specifically about that situation.
Well, we did talk about how Roman sent Sami out to save Jey.
Yes.
But the hug at the end of the match, when Sami ultimately got the victory for the Bloodline by hitting KO, and Jey coming in to take the pin, the first person to embrace Sami.
Sami giving Jey the pin.
Okay. Did he give it to him, or did he hesitate on taking the pin and Jey take it?
He gave it to him.
Yeah,
No,
he points at
you
him.
can tell by the body language. He
gave
gave
it
it to him.
Thereby,
Or could he not bring himself to pin his best friend and let somebody else follow the sword?
No. I think it was thereby solidifying his spot in the Bloodline by getting
I won't
the last
disagree with that.
approval that he needed from Jey.
But I got one question to that. While he was looking at Jey to make that pinfall, that was Jimmy doing the background.
He was out on the ground.
Jimmy rolled in by the turnbuckle. While Sami was pointing, Jimmy was watching. Jey took the pin because Sami didn't take it.
I disagree.
That's what I saw happen. I don't know.
Well, and here's the deal. The best part about that is we have several outs.
Oh, yeah. A million of them.
Still.
But nothing that led up to that moment mattered because ultimately we got embraced by Roman, and then the biggest pop of the fucking night came from a hug, which irritates me to no end on a spiritual level. But it was Jey Uso embracing Sami Zayn and basically embracing him and welcoming him into the Bloodline for the first time.
Just because he won Jay's respect doesn't mean that Jey still doesn't like him.
You're right. We'll see what happens with all that.
It's just now he doesn't have a choice.
Also doesn't Sami Zayn just stand there and not.
Alright, so that's our Bloodline update. Let's get into some birthdays.
Alright.
Shall we?
Happy birthday, Miss 2.
Okay, we're going to start out
You sound like a zoo.
with remembering the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. His birthday would have been today, 1962 to 2002. 20 years ago this year.
He'd have just turned, you said 62 to today? He would have just turned 60 today? Wow. Wow.
Yeah, we would have lost him, I think, in March.
For those of you who are unaware, former European champion. Former multiple-time tag team champion. International tag team champion with, of course, his tag team, the British Bulldogs.
Yes. Dynamite Kid.
One of the part of the Hart Dynasty by a brother-in-law.
He was a part of the match, the infamous Shockmaster match and the infamous Shockmaster interview. Part of that.
But nothing will ever beat the fact that they sold out Wembley Stadium
Him and Bret Hart.
in SummerSlam
92.
92.
So 92, also 72,000 people.
More people than had ever attended a WWE live event ever before. And he was so high that Bret Hart carried him the entire time, called every single spot for him, and you could
Him
not.
and Hawk both.
You could not tell. Well, Hawk botched it. Hawk, you could visibly see, was fucked up. nobody could tell that Davey Hart's whip was fucked up. But when he got to the back, Bret Hart called every single second because he didn't even know where the fuck he was. Yeah. That is the kind of talent you can only fucking hope to write about. I don't even like. 1 minute. Say what? I'm gonna give myself a trouble.
Are you done?
I am. Go ahead.
All right.
Am I done? What? Not yet.
On the 28th,
He
we started with Eric Rowan.
So Eric Redbeard.
Eric Redbeard, currently, as he was known by, was a member of the Wyatt family in their introduction to NXT, along with the late Luke Harper.
He's also the nephew of Stan Hansen.
40. No, I want to say younger. 39.
40.
No, 41.
Yeah, I was going to say 41.
Point Luke.
Damn it. Good work.
Also on the 28th.
Bring all the points to me.
Jessica Rabbit. Summer Rae.
Summer Rae.
First of
WWE
all,
legend.
don't you disrespect Jessica Rabbit like that in my presence. Because she can get it. Somebody said. Summer Rae. Fuck, I don't know. 35.
37.
Summer Rae will be 39.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea.
Years old.
Don't remember her at all.
Point Luke.
Wow, are you 2-0?
I am.
On the 29th, we have Jerry the King Lawler.
He's definitely older than any one of his marriages.
His marriages lasted longer than some of his wives' ages.
That's true.
Jerry
He had
Lawler.
shits he'd taken that was older than his last wife.
Most notably, former Mid-South heavyweight champion, not Mid-South, AWA Southern, AWA World Champion and AWA Southern heavyweight champion. Was king of Tennessee. Yeah. The Memphis territory specifically, the two biggest.
I love the Bulldog too, Wolfie.
The two biggest names in Memphis at that time was Elvis Presley and Jerry the King Lawler.
Yep. And
Elvis Presley himself was a Jerry the King Lawler fan.
Well, how could you not be?
Jerry does have a very, very checkered storied past with women, which we're not going to get into.
Also, one half of the greatest announced team in the history of professional wrestling.
Jerry the King Lawler
and
Jim Ross. Mm-hmm. Arguably the best. An argument can be made for Tenay and Bobby, but
an argument can be made for Joey Styles by itself.
That's not a team.
Oh, that's true.
I'm going to say Lawler is. Let me see. Flair just turned 73. So I'm going to say Lawler is 65.
67.
Jerry Lawler will be 73 years old on the 29th. Happy birthday, Jerry Lawler. Point, Luke.
Wait a minute.
Nothing.
Lawler and Flair are the same age?
Apparently.
Can you tell by all the makeup he wears?
Yeah, well, it also helps that Lawler didn't drink and didn't do drugs.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Wow. I could have sworn he was younger. That's if I lose this week, nothing's going to happen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm going to celebrate.
Good time come on?
Yeah.
No, you ruined it. Max,
Touch your mouth! Sorry.
All right, let's see. More on the 29th. Who's next?
Who we got?
What the hell's that?
That's what Dana Brooke looked like before the plastic surgery.
That is Dana Brooke. You're right.
It's not what she looks like now.
Oh.
We've talked about this.
Hell, I don't have a clue. She was 34.
That's 35.
How about 34 on the nose?
Great. That was a lucky guess because I don't goddamn
so glad you got
Point
the point on Dana Brooke.
Also on the 29th, we have Zeb Coulter.
No. You have Dutch Mantel. Zeb Coulter is his repackaged name by the WWE. That is fucking Dutch Mantel, former AWA World Champion, former NWA Mid-South, NWA Southern Heavyweight Champion.
Also the man that gave the man known as Stone Cold Steve Austin his wrestling name.
And also had one of my absolute favorite takeaways in an interview ever. When he opens the interview, he says, "Hello, I'm Dutch Mantel, and you're not."
Dirty Dutch, 78.
No, got 70.
78.
How about 73?
I'll take it.
Point Caleb.
He would get the point, Dirty Dutch.
One more on the 29th.
John Bradshaw Layfield, the wrestling god. The longest reigning, at the time when he was the WWE champion on SmackDown between 2004 and 2005, was the longest reigning champion in over a decade with a 10-month reign.
Which kind of looks pathetic nowadays.
Nowadays, but back then it was insane. Also, that was at the time when WWE separated the pay-per-views between Raw and SmackDown, except for the Big Four. So you'd alternate. John Bradshaw Layfield main evented 6 out of the 10 major events by himself against top names such as Booker T, Eddie Guerrero, Undertaker, John Cena, and Kurt Angle.
And the Big Show.
And the Big Show. Former United States champion, former multiple-time tag team champion. And this is the one thing that I'll say about JBL that I respect more than anything. When he started as Luke Hawk, he was a jobber. Point blank clean. He was only in the ring to make people look good.
Justin Hawk.
Justin Hawk, yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I said Luke Hawk. Luke Hawk was his tag team partner.
Yes.
So he started out as a jobber until they repackaged him as an acolyte as part of the ministry with Ron Simmons.
Yes.
Became multiple-time tag team champion. And the first opportunity he got to be a singles competitor, he fucking took it and ran with it all the way to a world title run. He was in the WWE for almost 20 years before he was a world champion. And he's one of the few guys, you can say he's a bully and he's a dickhead in the locker room, all that argument's fine, but he's one of the few guys who from the first day worked to get to where he got. And now, after the WWE used that to become a personality on Fox News, which your political opinions aside, he used that media to do what he wanted to do, became a legitimate financial investor, became a legitimate rancher, and still is a good old boy Texan who likes to drink beer and have a good time. Yep. All of that being said, to get the accolades, JBL, well, fucking how old he is. I'm going to say 58.
I'm going to go 59.
How about 56? No point.
That's close. That's close.
Close. Also has the meanest finishing.
The lariat.
I would take a Vader bomb from a gassed Vader on the second rope before I would ever even dream about taking clothesline from hell from JBL.
Yeah. 100%.
He cracked a Samoan's clavicle. That's how hard he hit him. Stan Hansen couldn't do that.
No.
All right, we got 2 more wrestling birthdays.
All right, lay it on.
We're both on the 30th.
Christian Cage. Former WWE World Champion,
yes.
Former Impact World Champion, former NWA World Champion.
Also, Reeks of Awesomeness.
Reeks of Awesomeness. Numerous time tag team champions, along with Christian.
Probably one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
One of the top intercontinental champions of his day. Was also former ECW World Heavyweight Champion.
I think he's a pretty creepy
on the
little
ring
bastard.
brand. He is a creepy little bastard.
He also is the guy who helped Stone Cold invent the Blood Champ.
That's true.
We have Christian
and plays a mean kazoo.
He does play a mean kazoo.
I'm going to say Christian is 44.
45.
Christian will be 49.
Wow. I thought he was younger than that.
Point Luke.
Wow. I guess I'm wrong. What are we at now? 4-2? 5-2?
4-2. Luke's lead. We've got one more wrestling birthday and quite a few celebrity birthdays, so don't worry about it.
I ain't.
Who's our last wrestling birthday here, Johnny?
I'm just fucking sitting here. Yes.
Is that Naomi?
That is Naomi in her bright-ass green outfit.
All right, Naomi main evented 2 WrestleManias for the women. She won 2 back-to-back women's world titles at WrestleMania, both of which happened in New Orleans. I think those are her only title runs, if I'm not mistaken. She was part of the Funkadactyls when she got initiated into the business, along with that fucking fat fuck, Brodus Clay, formerly who is currently now Tyrus, and again is the NWA World Champion. That's a different argument for another fucking time. Either way, Naomi is a former... no. Naomi's a former 2-time Divas champion.
Yes.
No.
She's SmackDown champion. She had the white
SmackDown.
belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Because when she come out with the lights, the belt blue.
I think, I'm going to say Divas because that was before the Raw and Smack. I could be wrong.
She held the Divas title once. She held the SmackDown Women's title.
Okay, so both on SmackDown.
Yeah, 2-time Women's champion.
She's also the wife of
Jimmy.
Jimmy. I should say Jimmy.
She's Jimmy's wife.
Man. She's been in the system for a long time.
37 years old.
38.
How about 35? No point.
Wow, she's been in the system since she was
early.
23.
That'll make it 42 going into celebrity birthdays. We got 10 or 12 here.
All right, let's see what
We
happens.
start out with Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I have a personal story about Bill Nye the Science. Well, not me personally. My high school physics professor was named Larry Keppel, and he was a legitimate Mensa certified genius. He worked with NASA in the 1970s to produce engine fuel, worked with the CDC in the 1980s to produce a cure for, I think it was hepatitis A. Dude's a legitimate fucking genius. I say all of that to say that he absolutely hated Bill Nye, and every opportunity he got to talk about how much of a dick Bill Nye was. Fuck. He'd have to be. I mean, he was old when he was on PBS.
Yeah. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
62.
I think he's older than 62, so when the price is right, I'd say 63.
That was a good call. Bill Nye is 67 years old today.
See, I even thought he was older than that. I thought he would have been in his 70s by now. Wow, it means he was only really in his late 20s and early 30s when he got started on PBS.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shane,
He looks so fucking old when we were
Shane
kids.
is such a fuck now.
He's actually an engineer. Started out.
He is a, I think, MIT, but he's a certified engineer with an honorary doctorate in physics, an honorary doctorate in geothermodynamics, and another honorary doctorate. He was on the writing principal team for the University of Science in Texas for, I think, 2013, 2014, and then
We need
something
that
else.
star graphic that goes across and says the
Hey,
more
look,
you know.
I know shit. He's on the list. It's not my fault.
This is your brain.
All right, well, we have more people on the list as well. There's more people on the list as well. So
Fuck him. I'll do what I want.
Also, today, that is William Fichtner.
I like him from the show Mom.
I was going to say I like him in Mom, but also he's the dickhead Norm McKenna.
Yes.
Those are the things I remember most of him about.
Yeah.
The first thing that always comes to mind me is the Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He was in the Longest Yard.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a dickhead, though. He was a dickhead.
Well, you major dickhead from Longest Yard. What are you talking about?
Not the end.
He redeems himself in the end.
He didn't shoot Adam Sandler.
He's fantastic in absolutely everything. He was in Ultraviolet.
Yeah.
He's done a bajillion different things.
What
He's
have
a
you done?
fantastic fucking actor.
Get off the nuclear warhead.
I'm going to go 58.
No, older than that. 59.
He is 66 years old today.
He just tied it.
Yeah, you're welcome. See?
I
Talk-
had to make it interesting.
Talk some more shit about how much I know about Bill Nye the Science
I had
Guy.
to make it interesting.
Got some more
You're lucky
great
the Howard
actors.
Burton was on the list.
Got some more great actors with birthdays. Tomorrow on the 28th, we have Ed Harris.
The
Also
Rock,
another
like a
guy
motherfucker.
who consistently plays an asshole
So
in every movie he's in.
So good in The
I
Rock,
relate.
so good in Milk Money. He was good in a
Oh
lot of
my
things.
God, Milk Money.
except
Oh,
for radio.
Yeah, of course, radio.
He doesn't play
he wasn't an
on
asshole.
radio.
He was an asshole in National Treasure too.
He was an asshole in real. The guy who he played in radio was an asshole in real life.
Yeah.
Stepmom.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about it. With Julia Roberts and
wow.
Susan
Yeah,
Sarandon.
Yep.
Fuck, I forget. My mom loved that movie when she was alive. She's
I love Ed Harris.
Um,
I do.
and so do I. I'm going to say Ed Harris is 70.
71.
How about 72 tomorrow?
Damn.
Price is wrong.
What a piece of meat. Oh,
Also on the 28th, we have Judd Nelson.
my hero.
Judd Nelson's fucking harsh.
Judd Nelson, John Bender, Breakfast Club. I'm not
That's
even
right.
going to say anything else. That's
That's
all
right.
you need to know. Who is my
Smoke up,
legitimate-
Johnny! Sorry.
Who is my legitimate spiritual fucking hero. I want to be John Bender when I grow up.
You are.
I am. You're goddamn right I am. We almost did that play. John Bender, Judd Nelson, who's also in what? Captain by the Lakers.
Yeah. Saying something about Shark.
64?
65.
Ooh, he will be 63 tomorrow.
Damn.
No point.
So close, dude.
One more on the 28th tomorrow.
John Stewart.
Devoted wrestling fan.
Devoted wrestling fan, host of the Daily Show for the host of the original host of the Daily Show
Second original. Craig Kilborn was first host.
on Comedy Central. Oh no, I didn't know that. The more you know. However, host of the Daily Show, was an actor or is an actor. I guess
Was one of the greatest parts of Big Daddy.
Was one of my absolute favorite actors.
He's in Half Baked, one of my favorites.
And has another talk show right.
Have you seen the back of $20 bill?
It's in fact a $20 bill.
Is he quite 60 yet?
I don't know, dude.
I can't tell you. You always ask me
58.
every week, and I can't tell you.
55.
58.
Jon Stewart will be 60 years old.
Damn.
Point
I didn't
Luke.
think he was quite there yet. He looks good.
It does look good. 60.
All right, on the 29th.
Due to another Jew. All right.
Oh my God.
Howie Mandel. Bobby.
Got him.
Bobby.
You all may know him as a host on America's Got Talent. I know him as the monster.
I know him as the voice of Bobby's World.
Maurice.
A little bit more strange now. I know him with Gizmo.
Oh, that's right.
Because Gizmo and Bobby from Bobby's World is the same voice.
Uh-huh.
Just he speaks words as Bobby, but it's the same exact voice. Also, at one point, he was the world's leading most paid stand-up comedian in the early 80s.
He was one of the first prop comics.
Yeah.
Well, one of the first, but one of the more prolific. He went toe-to-toe with Carrot Top in like, what was 86 and 87.
They couldn't be booked in the same town. Yeah.
Number one prop comics. Fuck.
He's up there.
60?
61.
How 67?
Damn, I thought it was younger than that.
Point to Luke.
What's the score now? What, 7 to 5?
Roll it up.
7 to 4.
7 to 4?
7 to 4. We got about 4 more.
Okay.
Starting with Ben Stiller
Jared
on the
Zoolander.
30th.
Ben Stiller, a comedic Rolodex as long as my arm.
Yeah.
And longer than that, probably.
Yeah, should have played Eddie Munster.
Has played every. Obviously, everyone thinks about
what character is that?
That is Zoolander.
Blue Steely showing it now.
Something about Mary. What's the one where he
Mystery Man.
Miss?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Junkie!
We quote that all the time. I can't believe that was on my first.
I just rewatched Heavyweights the other day.
Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, obviously.
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder, incredible. His dad was Jerry Stiller, who's one of the greatest comedy writers and comedy actors of all time.
How old is he?
I'm not going to say he's in his 60s yet, but he might
know.
53.
54.
How 57?
Damn.
On the 30th.
You're just waiting on me to guess so you can practice my.
I'll
Look, them's the rules, baby. I don't know.
I'll go first this time. Who we got?
Also on the 30th, we have a Billy Idol.
Old as fuck.
See, Billy Idol gets it.
Billy Idol, 79 years old.
Oh, it's chilly outside. It's a nice day for a light sweater. It's a nice day for a cardigan.
I hate you both. And I say that because I hate you both.
What was your guess?
Mine was 79.
65.
How about the 67?
Woo!
Point Luke for Caleb finally.
Doesn't prove anything.
Shut up.
Doesn't prove anything.
All right.
Not sponsored by Coors Light. Good job. Although we should be.
On December 1st,
Don't drink, don't smoke. Or do. I don't care. Just don't tell your parents.
we'll have the
Do
great,
not listen to this man.
fantastic Bette Midler.
That's a damn good picture of Bet.
Bette Midler is a Tony Award-winning Broadway star. I believe she won the Oscar for Gypsy, but I could be wrong about that. Either way, she's a multiple-time recording artist, multiple-time platinum artist, or not platinum artist, placing artist. Has performed on Broadway, numerous films, including, but not limited to,
Hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly, the First Wives Club, Winifred Sanderson, and Hocus Pocus. And is 71 years old.
72.
How about Bette Midler will be 77 years young
I'm giving her all the life, man.
on December 1st.
I'm stuck in the lives of
Who's that
children.
point go to?
I don't know if that was live.
Point Luke. The last one on December 3rd, the Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy motherfucking Osbourne.
From one Prince of Darkness to another. Secondly, as old as he fucking wants to be.
I'm going to say a cool 80.
70.
How about 74? years old.
me too.
Caleb gets a point, but it doesn't matter.
Too fucking late, business.
Luke wins 9-6
Damn.
for the week.
2 weeks in a row. How you feeling, champ?
2 weeks in a row, 2 seasons in a row.
You feel that?
No,
I
it's a
don't.
shame.
It's going to happen. Do me a favor and let me that.
All right,
No,
now
seriously.
Appreciate it.
now we get to get into some really fun stuff.
All right.
It's time for some bullshit.
Oh, good.
More bullshit.
That's right. Now this week is all about some epic fails. Hold it right there, John. All about epic fails. And a lot of the time, that happens because you just have too much time on your hands. And what does it look like when you have too much time on your hands? Well, kind of like this.
You really went through that whole deal to set up that joke for that picture.
I really did. I
Now,
really
I
did.
respect that. But I hate you for it. But I respect the shit out of it.
But he still hates you for it. But
But
he
when,
respects it.
when you have too much time on your hands, you tend to do stupid shit like these next couple pictures that I have.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
What's the first one here, Big John? Like, all right, how does this happen?
Did someone put a median block on top of the railroad?
They poured it right on top.
They poured it right on top.
So this is why you use union contractors.
Was this in Illinois? Seems like it was
I,
done in
I would
Illinois.
assume so. I mean,
If it was done in
yeah.
Illinois, we'd still be waiting on to pour the concrete.
That's true.
They've been working on the same stretch of 57 since I was 17 years old.
I could probably go
Now
to
he's
Carbondale, take
37
pictures.
years old.
32 years old.
Right, right.
All right, we got a couple more here. How? I don't think this quite works right.
Is that door put the wrong way on there? With no handle?
It's put
Yeah, that's
up
too high.
way too high.
Yeah.
As long as the lock on the inside works, I don't see a problem.
Max, are you
I
using...
love how Luke just didn't notice. He's
You,
like,
uh,
"Oh, what's the problem? We're just
do
saying."
you use these, Max? Is this comfortable for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I just,
I mean,
again,
they
as
can't
long-
see your face.
as
So
long-
you're
Hey, he
all
can
right.
stretch his toe, but I
as
don't
long
see a
as
problem.
the lock works, it's not an issue for me personally.
That's because you have no shame.
Okay,
Hey,
now these
shut
only get
Thank you.
better.
You're right.
These are only going to get better as we go. We got a couple
Hi,
more
Bethany.
here.
Welcome to the show.
Hi, Beth.
Just examine this picture for a moment.
So that's how Walt gets all the kids under the ground. This thing. Yep. It's just a slide that leads to a trap door.
I've heard of a stairway to heaven, but a purple slide to hell? That'll make any sense.
Hey kids, let's go to the park.
Okay, in fairness, that's a much more fun way to get to hell than I'm going.
Well, you'd have to add a bus, some sparklers, pineapple or two, me.
I mean, the pineapple broke me. Sorry.
That's fucked up, man. That's like, what?
God damn it, Luke. God damn it.
Maid outfit.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I mean, you know, Halloween,
Okay.
Halloween was only a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's the deal. They don't even want to send them in their flush. Do you see the corner? It's like, we're going to just bring you to where you bash your fucking tailbone on this concrete and fall backwards.
Man, you know that slide is hot, too. It's
Oh,
not even one of
man.
the metal slides, but you know it's sticky. Like
Yeah,
some
it
kid
is.
left a sucker at the bottom, and it's just melted.
Speaking of sticky slides,
Motherfucker.
So that's what it looks
Max.
like.
You cannot put selfies in the rundown, dude. To know what-
Why is it
That
been
girl.
Well,
Here's the thing.
here's the deal. Hold on. Here's the deal. Y'all can leave your kids to play by themselves because they ain't no pervert in a 20-mile radius. Because they're just like, nah, man, ain't for me. That's what this is.
Yeah, because it's
The
not
deterrent to crime.
because it's not circumcised. There's not a Jewish kid going to lap on that playground right now.
Lift the hood and check the oil, I guess. I don't know.
And look at the cheesy face on the banana. Just, hey, take it right. First of all, if you go in that way, it's super uncomfortable. But also, don't crawl back up. It's just right on top.
Oh, I'm scared for him to even click the fucking button now.
No, that is the last of what I have for right now.
I really hope that anyone who just now tuned in, and that's their first visual.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, what is it?
This
penis
weird.
slide
Also,
out to
can we talk about where they put like the connecting pieces and why this is such a vascular slide? Because that's frankly an insult to all the rest of us.
I want to find this place just to take a picture sitting on it.
I got a feeling that there's a picture of me somewhere just doing that. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Anyway. Hey!
That was you last weekend. Hey.
Oh, man.
Okay, no, that is my last picture.
God.
We're going to go into
We're going to get
what
canceled.
has something that we need to discuss.
All right, yes.
Oh, I've been waiting for this.
Take it over, Luke.
So, I was flipping through the channels here, right? Or through the streaming stuff. And we come across Dangerous Breed. Crime, cons, cats. This is the story of one of the biggest failures in professional wrestling and in life, really. The documentary
epic fail.
you can watch it on Peacock, not a sponsor. Fair warning: if you are to watch this documentary, there's some warnings I would like to throw out ahead of time.
Glad you joined the show at the right time, Bethany.
It's not.
It's not for the faint of heart.
No. At the beginning of this, go ahead and give me the next slide. This is Teddy Hart.
Let's give a little bit of background.
Okay.
Teddy Hart is a member of the Hart Dynasty, and at one point in time, again, like we were talking about off camera, was one of the #1 names in the independent wrestling business. Had multiple opportunities with WWE, and multiple opportunities with TNA at the time, which was now 15, 16, 17 years ago. Teddy Hart was one of the featured members of the Wrestling Society X program on MTV in 2004? Yes. He was one of the hottest stars in the business. And I say that because not only of his name, which has a tremendous amount of value as a Hart, but genuinely in the ring, Teddy Hart is an incredibly talented competitor. All of his stuff that we're going to break down here in just a minute aside, I want everyone to understand that there's a level of respect that comes with his physical ability, even at his worst, is still better than a lot of people at their best. And that's saying a lot when it comes to the top field of guys who can work. Teddy Hart, if the universe had aligned differently, Teddy Hart would be the guy we're sitting here talking about right now. That's not.
We are sitting here talking about.
I'm saying in a positive light.
Giving all of that.
Yeah.
And his talent.
I just wanted to make sure there was a clear understanding who he was before we go into this next part.
Given all of that, let's talk about what a giant piece of shit.
Well, we're going to start the story here. A gentleman by the name of Omar. I don't have his last name right now. We'll just say Omar. Started to film a documentary series, a reality show, about Teddy Hart and his side gig of selling Persian cats. Now, they show video of these cats in his home, to which there is, I have no idea how to pronounce it, which is his side hustle. These cats look sickly.
Whoa.
Omar Mawal.
Now, props to this guy for doing everything that he did. He filmed him for 10 years.
10 years.
10 years of his life. And then that's while working another job and everything else. And he goes through some really scary shit that a lot of people would have backed out.
I'm going to get into the first one of those. While filming this documentary, this man is married to a woman named Faye. The woman named Faye is in the video at the beginning of this, and they're claiming to be polyamorous.
Yeah.
They have
Give
this
1
other
second to
woman.
let this door open.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, guys, we're going to talk about the door here. Oh, wait.
One of them's name was Faye, who was his wife. And they had a girlfriend that was in the house being filmed this whole time. Now, there is a scene done in a hot tub with the girls with no tops on, basically lip service, telling Teddy he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. And
very clearly all together and happy. And
So, a little later on into the story, Teddy Hart gets in trouble with the law and goes on the run from the police due to a story that was released that was claims from Faye and the girlfriend that they were held there against their will, that when the guy wasn't around, if they didn't do what they said they were going to do, they were beaten unmercifully. Sexual assault, criminal sexual assault, numerous things. Domestic battery, numerous things. So he flees Canada. He goes to Texas, where he meets this girl, the first girl we're going to talk about, which wrestles on the Indies. Machiko. Who he promises the world, I'm going to take you to Canada. You're going to be a great professional wrestler, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. But she eventually did end up becoming an independent worker. However, he's going to turn himself in to the Canadian police on...
Deletta, you can shut the door way back in.
They did the guy come back, said, if you promise to turn yourself in, we'll continue to film this documentary, which really this guy's only job was to get him back to the States so that he would face Canada for the crime. Back to Canada, sorry. He gets back to Canada. They arrest him immediately. There's no filming of him going and turning himself in. The girl is refused entry to Canada and the cat that he takes around with him because she had a domestic on her record from a fight with Fuckhead.
Yeah.
So she's told she can't come back to Canada, and they send her back to the States. Now, he spends his time, which is a very short amount of time before bonding himself out.
Yeah.
These women take him to court. While they're taking him to court, he meets a woman by the name of Samantha Fiddler. Samantha Fiddler is also an aspiring professional wrestler that has been promised the world by Teddy Hart. You know, I'm a legend.
Yeah.
My family's this. We'll take you to Florida, and we're going to get you set up with people I know, and we're going to get you started. Now, it's all well and good for a while. The filming stops when Teddy Hart just stops showing up.
Well, hang on. Because you have to explain the little bit of a relationship between them as well. Not only did he tell her, I'm going to take you here, and I'm going to make you a big star, and a wrestler and all this jazz, but also, and there is video footage and multiple people that have testified that they were also showed that they were very in love.
Yes.
So for this part of the story, Teddy Hart is now back to Florida with Samantha Fiddler. Recording stops because Teddy Hart becomes Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
Dude steps away for a little bit. In the middle of the night, 3 a.m. in the morning, actually, he gets a phone call from one of his buddies that was working on the project and says, we have a huge problem, we need to talk. And he goes, what's that? He goes, Samantha Fiddler is a missing person.
Yeah.
The last recorded whereabouts of her was with Teddy Hart. As of today, this woman is still missing.
Yeah.
Which means 3 children are without their mother. They talked to him about maybe if we can do this documentary. Maybe they're trying to get answers out of Teddy Hart. This dude believes you. You know where she's at. You know what's going on. We're trying to get answers.
Because they were in Florida, and he left Florida to take care of his court stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when contact between them supposedly broke. But he left her stranded in Florida, stole her car,
And
took her passport. She had no ID. She had no money. She had nothing. She was Canadian and Florida, and he left her there. And there were reports of her in different places throughout Florida.
Yeah.
But never real contact.
Johnny, you want to switch pictures for me, my man? This is Samantha Fiddler. The number is, of course, across the top of the screen with any information of the whereabouts of this woman.
Yes.
Well, I took this. This was posted 2 days ago on the internet, so all this should still.
If anyone in the Florida area knows anything or has seen this woman, they need to contact the number of call.
Please do. That's 800-266-1140. One more time, that's 800-226-1140.
They try to get him back in the phone to try to help find her. He starts talking about, well, yeah, I mean, I think you're going down an empty road there. They're never going to find her. What do you mean they're never going to find her? And he goes, well, I don't know. If they would have found her, she'd have already, showed up by now.
If they could have found her there.
Well, then he gets in an argument with the guy, and he tells the dude to turn the camera off. It's not turning the camera. And he's like, to be honest with you, this isn't going to help my career. To be 100% honest with you, I could give a fuck about Samantha. Which is his exact words from his mouth.
Tried to say that they had never had any sort of romantic
when her sister contacted the authorities about a missing person, she contacted him first, and he was like, I knew her for about a week. She took a punch in the face wrestling, decided she would do it. Yeah. Haven't seen her since, which is an obvious lie.
Yeah.
Because he was on videotape for the better part of, 3 months? With her in a relationship of what it looked like to me, a serious relationship.
Yeah. She took him to meet her parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say, and I want to stress this, if you haven't seen the documentary, please give it a shot.
And here's something that I wanted to touch on for 1 second. Peacock is in a specific deal with the WWE to produce wrestling content. Peacock themselves, their parent company, NBC, decided to take interest in this story. Number one, because it parallels against the WWE. Number two, it illustrates a specific side of wrestling that we are very rarely introduced to unless it's a major tragedy. Because Teddy Hart is not a guy you see on Monday Night Raw. Teddy Hart is a guy who works specifically independent dates and is still today, with all this controversy, and here's the wild thing that fucking kills me. This documentary was produced by one of the top four, one of the big four production companies in the fucking world. That documentary is streamable to everyone who has Peacock or anybody who has access to like NBC All or NBC Plus or whatever it is overseas. There are still independent promoters who will watch that and book him. And here's what I say. You're the type of promoter that will book Teddy Hart based on this information alone. On this alone, not his professional acumen, not any of the other controversies he's been involved in, but on this alone, if you have validation that he is not someone that should be fucking on your show around women, specifically around anyone, and like his disparaging fucking personality in the business, I can tell you right now, you're a fucking garbage person.
Thank you, Bryce Clark, following.
And please consider, just for 1 second, directing your money to someone who deserves it, instead of giving it to this fucking shill.
Yeah. It's disgusting as hard to watch as a human being. I mean, I couldn't imagine as a woman.
It was traumatizing.
It had to.
And one of the hard parts of
I recommend that you do watch the documentary, though. It was very
enlightening,
and it makes you wonder how many Teddy Harts are out there.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what the Me Too movement was exposing those guys, and
they talk about the Me Too movement, and
when you learn about how many women that he was abusive towards,
everyone, every single one,
not just women, though.
It really does makes you have to wonder how many guys like that are out there and still getting away with all this.
I was watching this with Tanya and Max, and they both pointed something out to me when he was doing his YouTube videos where he was demanding his innocence. In the background of each video, he did 4 of them. There was a different woman in the background of every video.
Now, let me point something out to that regard. Just talking about the nature of the business. Because we have to illustrate very fairly. Historically speaking, there are always dominant personalities, especially in the wrestling business, who are less than cultural people. We just showed a video of Jerry Lawler. Hold on 1 second. Brian, we will answer that question. I promise. We're on a lag, but we will absolutely get to that in 1 second. Let us finish talking about this for just 1 minute. But thank you so much for asking, and I promise you we're going to hop into it. Jerry Lawler himself has a checkered past, and we on our show
thank you for the subscription, Brian.
showed a picture of him and talked about his accolades. And that is how these guys get by. That is how these problematic personalities, in pretty much every sort of media. That's the Me Too movement wasn't just part of wrestling. We saw the Me Too movement affect Hollywood, where they got the biggest Hollywood producer in Jeffrey Weinstein, where Weinstein got arrested too. All of media encompasses that, and part of the issue right now is that guys are going to look at this documentary that was produced by a major production company and think, you know what, we can book Teddy as a heel. Because now people, that's a wrestler brain. That's the first thing I thought. He'll be the biggest heel in the business right now. And he'll make money. Because there will be promoters who will pay for him. There will be fans who still sort of instill that ideal that he's going to get what's coming to him. And ultimately what's going to happen is he's going to keep making money. He's going to keep getting booked. He's going to keep getting put in locker rooms with impressionable talent, impressionable women especially. And even younger talent who believe that sort of behavior is acceptable. And look, there's not a guy in this room who was in the wrestling business and say that the drinking and the fighting and the women wasn't part of the deal. But there also comes like a point where it's like you have to separate the acceptable amount of consensual nonsense that occurs.
There's a difference between being a coxman and being a predator. There's a big,
and he's
big
not
difference.
only predatory when it comes to women. He's predatory to other talent.
Animals.
He will instill this ideal that it's okay to behave that way as long as you're good. And unfortunately, as we've seen in pretty much every modicum of professional wrestling, especially, all the guys who are good are like that.
Yeah.
Ric Flair, Jerry Lawler, Shawn Michaels, before he found the Lord, was just like that. Maybe not as so much the abusive part, but certainly that aspect that took their stardom, took their name value, took their ability to perform, and the guys who could make money off of it would put that at the forefront. And I don't give a shit who's watching the show right now. That's not the way to do business. And that's coming from one of the guys who used to be one of those dudes who would, like, find the girl and take her home and do whatever and never talk to her again. And I'm not saying that that's... I'm just saying that there are... How do I want to say this? Coming from a guy who, like, prioritized making sure that my shit looked good and that I could communicate with women, and then I did the drinking and the fighting and everything, I still never, like, crossed specific lines. And even what I did could be considered problematic if you look at it through a very microscopic lens. And I'm telling you that guy is a genuinely bad fucking guy.
Now, given with all of that, everything, before we move on,
yeah,
as you said, me, you, and Tanya all watched that together. Yeah. Tanya's sitting here with us, and I know that she felt very personal towards a lot of that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to add?
Said a little bit of rape is okay, so
yes, that was actually
quote. That's never okay. And you know, we never do like political stuff here. We never like do like super personal stuff here. But no, that's not right.
No, but this is something that needs to be talked
about.
But
it's respected to the wrestling business because this guy just got a fucking national documentary, and there are still people in the wrestling business who are going to try to make money off of it. And I guarantee you that there are going to be guys who feel the same way that I do, as passionate as I do, who want to fight him, and are going to make it. But here's the thing. Every single fucking time a guy in the locker room wants to fight Teddy Hart and it gets on YouTube, Teddy Hart gets more famous. If you don't want him to have power, stop fucking booking him. Stop being the guys who allow these fucking animals coming. No. Stop being the guy who allows the monsters in with the animals. Because those are two different fucking things. If you want fucking bull-headed, testosterone-filled fucking women getting wrestling, fighting, fucking good match having dudes who have a moral compass, those exist too. Stop confusing the nature of what we do with how it's presented, and stop using his clout that he just got off that fucking pay-per-view to make $1. Because I guarantee that fucking documentary to make $1. Because that $1 that goes in your pocket is on you. Because he's going to spend every cent you give him on his next fucking tirade and his next fucking deal to hurt somebody else. It's a weird fucking day when the devil himself has to tell you that that's fucking wrong. And fuck you. Don't fucking book him. Don't fucking share his shit. Don't talk about it. We're giving him too much attention talking about it.
No, I'm not giving him the attention. I'm giving her the attention.
Yeah, her the attention. And I'd like to cap this off. If you have any information and you live in the Florida area, please call this number. If you've seen this girl, if you've seen someone who looks like this girl, if you see someone else in trouble, fucking see something, say something, man.
If you see something, say something. If you don't, you are just as much responsible as whoever is doing it.
And if you support this bullshit, I promise you that there are going to be people in our circle that will find out. And I don't give a shit who you think you are. I will dedicate my fucking life to ruining yours.
I think I would like to bring this up at the end of the show one more time.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Back up.
Anyway, that being said, Peacock put a great documentary together. If you want to check this out, get your own information, form your own opinions. Peacock's not a sponsor, clearly, because we're doing this in my garage. But check it out on Peacock, on the streaming app, if you have the WWE package. Watch the documentary.
Dangerous Freak.
Form an opinion on your own, and we can talk about this later on in the future if you have questions.
Now, go to just talking for a minute. Caleb,
Yeah.
I need you to take a breath.
Oh, I know what's about to happen.
This is the main event, gentlemen.
Yeah, we've been promoting this all day long.
All right. Before what is about to happen happens, strong language advisory.
Also, if you have any opinions to add to the situation, there's plenty of ways that you can reach us.
You can find us at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. You can follow us on Twitter at ProWrestlingTV. You can send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. You can follow us on TikTok at ProWrestlingThrowdown1. You can also check out streamlabs.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown, where you can access our
Merch store!
And if you spend time over at the
Merch
you can
store!
find all of our merch.
The merch store! No.
You can find all of our merch. We did discontinue the bikini's been discontinued. The limited
There's a
edition.
sports bra.
There's a sports bra. The limited edition notebook has been motherfucker. You do it. Go ahead.
The limited edition notebook has been discontinued.
Thank you, Max. See, he knows what he's doing. But you can check out all of our swag. We got cups, hats. We can customize pants, shoes, bags, you name it. We got it over there. If there's something you want to see, check it out.
If there's something one specific you want to own from a specific, character, catchphrase.
Go to our Facebook page, get on the group, and let us know these kind of things.
Let me get back to the group here in a second. By the way, every dollar you spend, every dollar you donate goes right back into the channel, and you get your name entered into our drawing for the end of the month for a piece of free merch. This month is a free trucker hat, so be sure to check that out. Also, check out the Facebook group, Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Max is a primary admin. He's been killing it. We are trying to shore up those numbers so we can promote to our fans.
Before we get into what you're getting into, I'd like to fill Brian Bliss's question.
Great question. Brian Bliss, 57, asks, do you guys think Cody Rhodes will return to the Royal Rumble, wins, and beats Reigns at WrestleMania for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship? Now, Brian, we did answer this earlier. All I'm going to say is this. If Cody Rhodes does win the Royal Rumble, that's going to be the match that takes place at Mania. However, since Mania's in LA, since they're building to Roman and The Rock, I really would not bank on that being this year for Cody, especially considering he's been out for the last 6 months. It will probably be him returning after Mania, building back up to go to
Night after
the
Mania.
Rumble, and then beating Roman, which means expect to see Roman with the belt for another year. That's just my guess. I could be wrong. I doubt it. But hopefully, that's the payoff we get.
Yeah.
Because Roman has to beat The Rock at Mania to become the head of the table. Again, they're in LA. That's going to be more media buys and more media interest than they're ever going to get. That's the smart thing to do.
Thank you for your question, though. It's a great
Absolutely. Great question.
Now, you can take a breath for a second.
I'm probably going to take a drink.
Now, last week, I guess after we got done filming, we had a comment left to us. Somebody was a little less than thrilled with some of Caleb's language. Can we pull up that comment there, Johnny?
Well,
that's
not it.
There it is. John Skimmer writes, too many F's, not really cool. This guy's a poor man's Jim Cornette.
Now, what is not shown on here is I was the first one to respond to this, to which I thank the gentleman, or whoever, for their comment, and then I mentioned that Cornette was spelled with 2 T's and 2's, because, I'm a grammar Nazi like that. And then my lovely co-star here decided to.
So notice there's no apostrophe and
There's no grammar in that at all.
That's
I'm going to say something, and I'm going to turn it over to you so you can give your proper
No, please, by all
burial.
means.
But if the too many F's are not really cool for you, I'm sad that you don't understand grown-up language. But that is your prerogative, and everyone is right and entitled to their own opinion. So with that being said, and everyone being entitled to their own opinion, Caleb, rebuttal your opinion.
I'd like everyone to know that I waited 7 days for this, because they did not point this out to me until we closed the show last week. Now here's what I'm going to say. If you watch this show, you're either A, a friend of ours, or B, a fan of our content. And yes, I do get passionate, and I use certain language. I do so because, number one, that's part of my vernacular. What many of you may not know is that I have 3 degrees, all of which encompass with language. I happen to be a smart fucking guy. I like the word fuck because it's so versatile. And I use it often and well, might I add. The other part to that is if you don't like the content, you're welcome to unsubscribe, move on, and find something more suitable to your taste, and there is no front free to that because that's completely subjective to you. But if you choose to leave a comment on our page disparaging and or criticizing a member of our team, then we have the culpability and the responsibility to respond in a respectful way. Or not so respectful. Number one, Jim Cornette, while he may receive a tremendous amount of criticism for his particular opinions and his proclivities when regards to the wrestling business, has been part of this business for the better part of 40 years, managed the, bar none, most successful tag team in the 1980s, was a tenured senior writer for the WWE for almost a decade, was a tenured senior writer for TNA for another 5 years, also went on to prove that Ring of Honor actually could be a marketable venue, and was was chief and creative during their period of 2 years between 2011 and 2013 of their most profitable endeavors. Now you can say that he ruined Ring of Honor, as most people do, with his incursion of excluding guys like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, criticizing Kevin Owens, and all those things are valid arguments. But I'd like to point out that, number one, if I'm the poor man's Jim Cornette, I'd like to take that as a compliment. Number two, if you don't like the word fuck, and you don't like the way that I say certain things, you're welcome. Welcome to say, Caleb, I wish you'd calm down and not say the F so much. Now I, as a God-fearing American, as I am, have the ability and the right to both say, go fuck yourself, and get the fuck off my page. I'm passionate about this particular genre because this particular genre, number one, made me more money than I've ever seen ever since I got the fuck out of it. Is the reason my neck got broke, is the reason my right fucking leg doesn't work the way it does, and is the reason that I can't feel these 2 fucking fingers. So when you want to criticize how I react to certain things when it comes to my business, it's because I gave a lot more in a very short period of time, mind you. I didn't have a long wrestling career, but it's something that I've been passionate about since day fucking one, considering, as I'll remind all of you, that I grew up in the fucking business. That my aunt was best friends with Andre the Giant. That there are pictures in my grandmother's house of her with Macho Man Randy Savage when they were fucking neighbors. I'm sorry, would have been, since she's passed on now. My point is yes, I get passionate. Yes, I use colorful language. Number one, I want you guys to know this. This is a content-driven website. We need to be entertaining, and sometimes when Caleb gets to cussing, it's kind of funny. But also, if you don't think it's funny, only thing you've got to do is scroll the fuck on, because there are only 2 things you can do. One of them is nothing, and the other one is like it. You don't like the word fuck? Don't tune in, because I'm pretty sure we've illustrated after, 3 years of doing this, that I'm going to use the word fuck a lot, partially because I drink a little too much.
Also, I would like to point out the fact that the program that you're watching is on a open YouTube channel that is already specifically mentioned in not only the description, but the YouTube pantheon of stuff, that this is not a show made for children.
It is not. Now, that being said, this particular YouTube commenter did follow up today and say, just a joke, sorry. To me specifically, so I'd like to say, I accept your apology. However, this is a significant however. You said the thing you said so people would agree with you and or like what you said on social media, and that's fine. You can have main character syndrome all you like. But the main character of this fucking show are the 4 people who fucking run it. So if you want to hop on the YouTube and you want to criticize what I say, number 1, spell Jim Cornette's name correctly. Number 2, use proper punctuation. Number 3, maybe have the balls to say the word fuck. Now I understand YouTube might ban you, but that really shouldn't be your concern if that's the message you want to convey. If you don't like what I have to say on the show that he and I started in my fucking bedroom 3 years ago, which, by the way, there are like 13 fucking people watching right now, which means you took the time out of your day to specifically tune in. And you don't like what I had to say, even though it wasn't about my opinions. It wasn't about my experience. It wasn't about my knowledge. It was about my language. Then go fuck yourself. With Max's dick. And then blame it on Luke. Because I don't give a shit about your feelings, bro. I don't give a shit. Look, I have the benefit of being just charismatic enough where however you feel does not dictate the nature of this show. I swear I'm passionate, and also I'm a big did I mention I'm a big Jim Cornette guy? Have you ever heard me say that?
I've heard that once or twice.
Yeah. So, in true Jim Cornette fashion, I don't do this a lot, but because you tuned in, thank you. Fuck you. Bye. Give a fuck. Fuck him. It's our fucking show. What? Oh, Caleb got mad at fucking Omega and Ospreay. Now, yeah, you're goddamn right I did. I get mad about a lot of shit. Go fuck yourself.
It's gonna be a 9-star match, though.
Is that all that? Do we want to throw up Samantha Fiddler one more time before we close the show?
Luke, why don't you say more? And then maybe I can hop back in here. Hold on, before that happens, why don't you say a word about what I just said?
About what you did?
Yeah, just proffered opinion. Fill a little air here while I recharge my batteries.
Can we get the Too Many F's t-shirt?
Yeah.
Write that down.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's deciding it.
That is, I want that on the merch store tomorrow. Too many
Here's the
F's.
deal.
You gotta give me a little
You're
bit
lucky
of
I
time to
don't get
decide.
more F's.
I'm gonna sum this thing up the best way I can, and I'm just gonna say fuck.
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 Too many F's.
Oh. I was gonna start. I was gonna do a slow clap and everything.
The point is, what makes me the poor man's Jim Cornette, though, is that I have a realistic expectation of what I want wrestling to look like. Now, granted, that's based on my experience and what I like, but also I give you examples every single fucking week. And mind you, every time you watch this show, I predict what's going to happen on the next step. It's not like I'm bad at this job. It's not like any of us are bad at this job. Also, I'm not the only one who swears. I'm the only one who rants. But that's by design because, again, this is a content-driven business, and it's funny when I do it. Right now, there's someone laughing because I'm losing my shit.
Well,
That's the fucking point.
Well, I just realized, okay, look, he didn't specifically say it was you.
He did.
Maybe you were talking about Luke.
No, he tagged me. Well, he said this guy, but let's see.
Maybe he could be Luke.
It could be, but who
We
looks
don't-
Okay, hold on.
but
wait a
who
minute.
looks like Jim
We don't
Cornette's
know that
bastard
he
son?
wasn't.
Hold on.
We
Wait
don't
a
know that
minute.
he wasn't talking
First
about
off, if that's the case, you can go fuck yourself.
Luke.
First off. Second off, all the things that he said,
Yeah.
way cooler headed than what that was. Go fuck yourself.
I'm still
First
cool headed. I have not yet begun to blow my top.
That
Y'all don't
wasn't
want
nearly
me to
as bad
blow
as I
my
thought
top.
it was.
Sure,
I
we
was
Wait for that
Presentable.
9-star match at Tokyo Dome.
fuck that.
9
Poor
stars,
man's
dude.
Jim.
9 stars.
Who? What qualification is it? This is what I need to know.
You're broken.
How am I the poor man's Jim Cornette? Yeah, we have the same fucking ideals because we like the same fucking wrestling. If I like the Vince McMahon wrestling, I'd be the poor man's Vince McMahon. Except I really would be because I'm not a billionaire. But go fuck you. Coming
I
up with
love
my
the idea of the Too Many F's shirt.
fucking
What?
coming up in here telling me I'm wrong. You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
Mama, right.
All right, Johnny, let's bring Samantha back up for a minute, 'cause I guess I have something I want to add to that as we go into this. Again, if you have seen or know anything about Samantha Fiddler, please call the number.
That's 800-226-1140.
Again, 800-226-1140.
I also want to address, last week we forgot to talk about the Green Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but what we didn't mention is that if you are having any sort of issues, please reach out and talk to somebody.
Not me.
Luke, field that for a little bit.
Jason David Frank, the one thing that he is most known for, other than being a Power Ranger, was being an inspirational speaker.
Well, I meant everything.
So,
Well, and he was an episode of Family Matters.
which was a great episode of Family
Yes,
Matters.
but
It is important to always speak.
Yeah, man.
Rome wasn't built in a day. If you have problems, speak to somebody, even if it's leave a message on the Pro Wrestling Facebook.
I might swear at you, but I'll call you.
You're gonna get too many Fs, but it's worth it. Also, like Max said at the beginning, with the Samantha Fiddler, if there's any information to her whereabouts, that would be great.
If you need to talk.
If you need to talk, there are several ways you can get a hold of us.
if you yourself are in a situation and need to find a way out, reach out to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody possible.
Way better solutions. All right, well, before this ends on a super somber note, thank everyone for tuning in. Make sure
Yes.
you find us at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at ProWrestlingTV. Send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. Follow us on TikTok at ProWrestlingThrowdown1. Make sure to check out streamlabs.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown for the merch store.
For sure.
Also, when you hop on Facebook, check out the Pro Wrestling Throwdown group that Max is the sole admin of. We're co-admin. Let's be fair, Max is killing it. You can also be sure, if you just tuned in, hit that like button over here. Thanks everybody for spending your Sunday night with us, and we'll be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. And,
I just want to say,
fuck.
Too many reps.
First of all, if I've ever written one book, it's going to say there were never too many reps. And on that note, we cue the music.
And with that,
No.
meh, meh, meh,
No.
keep
Keep
it
it
in
in
the
the
ring.
ring.